Hey, this is Rikki ROXX, and you are listening to ROXX100.com.
The Big Rock.
The Big Rock. Keeping the music alive.
Bon Jovi. Lenny Kravitz.
Hey, all you rockers. This is Johnny J, your host for The Big Rock. Catch me right here on ROXX 100 as we are keeping the music alive, rocking the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The Big Rock on ROXX 100.
Rock. The Big Rock. The Big Rock.
Everything that rocks. Rocks.
Hey kids, would you like to be a rock god the likes of David Lee Roth in his heyday? Then you need to get the
RIKKI ROXX Rock God Starter Kit.
Each kit comes complete with black nail polish, eyeliner, sparkly scarf, an actual chick magnet, a velvet jacket to make all the girls go wild, and an over-the-hat skull cap with bandana accessory. Act Now will also include a handy booklet showing you all the best places to wear your sunglasses at night. Regularly a $29.95 value, now yours free when you take advantage of this fabulous offer. But don't act just yet. We'll also throw in a wall poster chart diagramming all the best rock faces to enchant your audience, proven to wet the ladies' panties in mere seconds. For all you newbies, this great kit also includes a CD demonstrating how to push your voice for the radio, taught by RIKKI ROXX himself. So quit being a big puss and man up rock style with the
RIKKI ROXX Rock God Starter Kit.
Now yours for just $29.95 plus $99.95 shipping and handling. Call now. 1-800-ROCK-GOD. That's 1-800-ROCKGOD. Now. Operators and tattooed hookers are standing by to take your order.
Feel your best before making an arrest. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets when you don't want something salady. Avoid police brutality. What you gonna pick? Cop pockets.
Cop Pockets, filled with juicy jelly, mouth-watering maple and bacon, and creamy custard on a crispy donut.
When you want an easy meal while you're busting that your deal. What you gonna pick? Cop Pockets.
The cop meal in a pocket. What you gonna pick?
Cop Pockets.
Did you wake up this morning with a nasty rash and nothing but regret? Did you go home with a sweaty bass player last night? Did you wake up wanting to chew your own arm off because some skank's laying on it? Are you feeling a burning, itching sensation in your crotchal region? Do you feel like you need to scratch your ass with tree bark? Are you walking around like you were banged with a Scud missile? Did you meet someone at the bar you thought would actually call you back? Idiot! Then you need Skankosporin. It'll cool that burning sensation before you do the walk of shame to the cab. That's Skankosporin Itch Paste.
Available at In-N-Out Party Stores, Bottles and Stuff, 8 Mile Liquor, and Cunningham Drugs.
Stand
program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. It's Rikki rocks, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Rikki Rock Show, spreading like the pox. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks up in your grill, motherfucker.
Yeah. All right.
Long-awaited return.
Another fucking week off. Here we are, episode number 119 of the Rikki Rock Show, right here on Rocks100.com and streaming video worldwide via YouTube Live. Thank you to all five of you people.
Prestige worldwide, wide.
Hold on.
You have a drop for that?
No. Wide. So yeah, here it is, episode 119. We're back after a week off. Kevin played a huge show at the Token Lounge.
Where Rikki promptly got ejected from.
I didn't get ejected. Well,
You pretty much did.
I did get thrown out, but we'll get into all that in a little bit. Kevin had his show with Harlow, the reunion, long-awaited reunion of their original lineup of Harlow, Joe Allen, Lauren Whitmore, Kelly Weaver, and Kevin Razlog. Real quick before we get into nuts and bolts, usually when I see Lauren or Harlow or something like that, I'm like, Lauren Weaver, and I was gonna do it. I'm like, Lauren, and her maiden name kind of slipped my mind. So I'm like, Lauren. So totally cool. We're gonna get into that show in a little bit, and the reason why we weren't on air last week. We have our beer of the week that we're going to be doing in a little bit. Our Pump It or Dump It band of the week. And in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking to Dakota Starr. Dakota Starr from Black Swan Dive Bomb and formerly of New Day Revolution and Dirty Whiskey, two bands that I was in a different life. And
is this foreshadowing for Rikki's? No, I'm just kidding.
No. I think this is a band that I am 95% confident I will never be in. I can't do punk rock anymore, man. I've grown up.
Oh.
Well, not grown up. I
was gonna say
my music,
you're pretty fucking childish in a lot of ways.
My musical ability, I feel like I'd get bored with it. The 3-chord thing. If I was 15 again, I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, punk rock. I can't do it anymore. I ain't got those diamond hands anymore. So we're going to get into right now our nuts and bolts and harsh truths. This is one that I think is going to be really big. Kevin's going to have a lot to say on this one. All right, this week's nuts and bolts and harsh truths, which is the segment of the show. Dakota actually hit me up and says he actually enjoys this show. He's been binging the Rikki Rock Show the last week or two. So he's like, oh, dude, this interview is awesome. I love your nuts and bolts segment. I'm like, well, it only took you 2 years to start checking them out.
Better late than never. Now we just need like 1,000 times many people to say the same thing, and then we'll be golden.
Yeah, I'll be making some money doing this.
Exactly.
So this week's nuts and bolts and harsh truths comes from Paul in Toledo, Ohio. He says, and if you have a question about anything with the music industry, whatever, send me an email, rocks100radio@gmail.com, or hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/rocks100, if you have a question about pretty much anything. Anyway, Paul, Toledo, Ohio, says, I have a question about playing away from home for the first time. What should we do as a band to give us the best shot at setting up our first out-of-town shows? We are trying to do some 2 or 3 show tours right now, but have no idea on how to do it and sound professional and negotiate terms. Any advice? Kevin Razlog, this is your bread and butter.
That's a loaded one. Without knowing like what the band has done, I guess take what I'm saying and kind of try and figure it out. But I mean, if the band,
let's just say they're a band that's been playing around their, the local Toledo scene, and they're trying to get out to Indiana and Pennsylvania or Michigan or whatever.
Well, I mean, first of all, like, given location, like when I was doing booking for Shudder, the first thing I did was like, okay, Ohio. It's relatively close. There's a lot of different markets there. So if I was in this band, I would probably scout different areas in Ohio, because Ohio is a pretty big state that has some good markets. Look at, southern Michigan, like even you could go as far as like Muskegon, like shit like that.
Right.
But I mean, realistically, kind of apply how are the shows you're getting offered locally. Like if you don't have any fucking content, I'm sure the shows that you're getting booked on probably aren't going to be that great.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those things where if you're doing really good in your area, look at the things that you're doing good and kind of apply it to that. To be completely honest, sometimes playing in new markets, like as far as negotiating terms, you're probably not going to get shit.
Well, how would you do this? Okay, so you're a new band. Nobody in your band's done the out of town thing before, so there's no connections there. Making that first contact with a venue out of town that you've never played before, you never played that market. What should this band, Paul and his band, do making that first contact with a venue out of town? What should they be sending them? How should they, word this email? How should they go about making that first contact?
Well, I could go two ways with this, because the one way that I used to do it back in the day might be sort of frowned upon. But I think ultimately, if you have you can look at your analytics and see where you actually have listeners. Now, what I'm about to say is not 100% how you should go about it, but if you have some numbers in a market that's on your radar that you want to hit, I would say, hey, we have some fans in this area. We're trying to branch out. We've heard good things about your venue. Do you have any dates that you would need an opener on? We're just trying to get our foot in the door, get into the area, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You're not going to be going in and be like, oh, hey, we want to headline whatever show.
Right.
You kind of basically have to be like, what do you have? And fucking take it.
Right.
Don't sit there, oh, well, how much are we getting paid? Now...
So is that something you would leave out of that introductory email?
No. So I would leave it out of the introductory one. And once you get everything confirmed, I would just send one more follow-up and be like, hey, just out of curiosity, we're not expecting anything, but generally, how do the shows work with pay, blah, 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 because the other guys in the bands are sticklers about it, and I just want to have as much information as I can.
Yeah.
99% of the time, the fucking promoters totally get that and understand it. If you come at them with hey, how much are we getting paid?
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, well, what the fuck? I just booked you on a show out of state, and you're asking for money. You're not gonna be bringing shit to the table anyways.
Right.
And what the whole purpose of this is when you get there and blow their fucking doors off, more often than not, Harlow had it happen a few times where we literally took a show that was not paid.
Yeah.
We drove 10 hours to Philly. The promoter fucking loved us. And after we got done playing, she's like, there's no way I can't let you guys leave without getting some money.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, cool. Be fucking humble and don't expect money.
Okay,
and good things will happen.
So do you send them, MP3s? Do you send them, music videos? Do you send them, or do you just say, hey, here's our Facebook, check it out?
No, I have a pitch email. So basically, and with every band that I work with, be like, hi, my name is so-and-so. I represent band A. If we had a tour date fall through, I'd just be like, hey, we're in need of a tour date. If you have anything that you could squeeze us on, I'd appreciate it. If not, are there any other places in the area? But as far as this scenario goes, I would just be like, hey, we're working on a weekend warrior kind of thing. Your market's been on our radar. I wanted to see if you had the following date available. Here's our information below. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Then generally I'll do a link to the band's Facebook, a link to the music videos. I wouldn't suggest sending MP3s through an email. I would just, if you have a Bandcamp or do a Google Drive link, or if you want to make it sound really cool, you'd be like, hey, we got this new single coming out. Don't share it with anyone. This is our new stuff. So this is what you can expect.
Right.
If you do little shit like that, the promoter's going to actually notice and go, oh, okay, that's cool. And then under that, I would usually do accomplishments, bands you've played with, I mean, it depends where the band's at. If you don't have a lot of shit to tout, condense it. Don't just throw oh, hey, we fucking opened the token for John 5. Like,
right.
I would say, hey, we shared the stage with John 5. I wouldn't go into like extreme detail, but if you don't really have a whole lot, just make it short and sweet.
All right.
I mean, there's no point in putting bullshit fluff. And don't lie. Don't lie. That's not a good one either, because trust me, they'll find out.
They'll figure it out. Yeah. So to Paul in Toledo, hopefully that helps. Steve
actually had a good comment. He said, would getting in touch with a local promoter in another market help there? Abso-fucking-lutely. If, you know, when you're doing research and looking for venues, like, a lot of the time you'll just come across like a promotion company that's in that area.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've hit up plenty, and I was like, hey, you know, like, I haven't had any luck talking directly to venues there. I saw you do promotion. Is there anything you might be able to help us out with or point me in the right direction?
Right.
Don't be like, we need a show. Just be like, hey, is there anything you could throw my way that might be able to help? Just be fucking nice. Don't be a stickler and, well, like, what's our guarantee gonna be? Like, if you bring up guarantee before the fucking date's officially booked, like, you're gonna have a bad fucking time.
It's a big turnoff, I guess.
Right. When you're an actual touring band that's doing shit seriously, like Heartsick, right?
Yeah.
If they hit up a promoter, the first thing the promoter's gonna go, I would love to have you. How much is it gonna cost?
Right.
When you've earned that right, like, then that's what it is. But as a new fucking band, if you do that, it's a good way to get yourself not blacklisted, but people are gonna be very hesitant to want to work with you.
All right. So there it is, Paul in Toledo. Hopefully that helps. So like I was saying, I have little to zero experience booking like out of towners. You know, I've done it.
Experience booking them here though.
Yeah.
So that's a totally different like paradigm compared to like me, where I'm booking. Well, I mean, I've done that here too, and I failed epically. But you've got more experience as a promoter here, bringing in bands.
Yeah, you know, if somebody sent me, you know, like you said, hey, we have a little bit of a fan base going on there. You know, I know it's not going to be a truckload of people, but I'm like, okay, well, there's some interest. You know, even if the people that are in this market don't show up, you know, there'll be a little tiny buzz about it. Maybe they'll share it. Maybe they'll do something rather than just a band that has zero, you know, influence or zero reach into this area, you know, and, you know, a well-written, you know, email, you know.
Yeah, grammatically fucking punctuated, don't have tons of run-on sentences.
You know, there's times I've gotten emails from bands. It's like, yo, we want to do a show in Detroit. Hit me up. And then I have, you know, I'm like, if I'm bored enough, I'll be like, you know,
let me do your job. And
you know,
figure out all the information.
I'll go on Facebook because it won't even have like the band name on it. It's like just like, you know, it says on the email like John Smith, you know, and
the
then
most generic name on the planet.
Well, whatever his name happens to be, and then I'm like, okay, well, you know, they'll usually be like, hey, we're a band from yada yada yada. We need a show,
right?
And I'm like, well, I got some time to kill. I'll do some research. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'll just kind of like skip it and, you know, never respond back. You know, if it's just like a sentence, hey, we need a show. We're from Indiana.
Take notes, bands, if you're listening.
You know,
because honestly, like, there was a point in time where I was getting like no fucking replies at all. And it was one of those things where I was looking at like, okay, what can I do better? Why am I not getting responses? But one thing to also remember is that if you are a band and you are serious about going out of town, there are promoters that actively look to bring in those bands.
Yeah.
And while it might not be the best pay, they're usually like super fucking awesome people to get to know, and they'll put you in a position where if you do a good job, they'll be like, hey, like this venue here, like they have a whole network of people that they know. So a lot of bands don't even get to that level of doing weekends. Like a lot of them just play their local circuit, like Diesel, fucking Flint. Like they won't venture outside of the mitten.
Right.
So there are promoters that actually, like Scott, right? When I first hit him up to play in Akron, he was like, oh, Detroit Rock City, fuck yeah. Like there still is that stigma of like bands from Michigan kind of, I don't want to say get put on a pedestal, but like people expect quite a bit. which is really cool that
singer band from Detroit has a lot more weight on it than
Rhode Island
than
or
like,
Delaware.
hey, we're from Boise, Idaho. You know, it's like, okay, that's cool. How's the potatoes?
Right.
You know.
But yeah, so like you kind of, it's a really fine line of like, obviously you want to be geeked about it, but like kind of set your expectations a little bit lower because they're not all glamorous. And I mean, like you're going, but that's part of the fun. You're going to a foreign area, you don't know anybody, and then, you know, you're opening up for like bands in their area that are like doing what you're doing in your area.
Yeah.
And just like doing the networking, having fun. But the one big thing I would say is if you're going to be doing this, go in there with a good merch setup because that's going to make you look 10 times better.
Yeah. You know, and going back to that, you know, that first email, you know, my biggest advice would be put thought into it, you know, because when I get those that I'm like, okay, well, they spent the time to write all this out. It doesn't look like a cut and paste or something like that. You know, I'm like, well, they put the time into it. I should do them the respect of putting time in to at least check the band out.
Right.
You know, I don't know if all promoters do that, if no promoters do it, or some of them do. But I'm like, okay, they put the effort in. I'm going to at least check them out, you know,
Right.
and if, you know, and a lot of the emails are like, well, if you can't do it, if you know somebody else in the area that could help me out, if you could point me their
Right.
way. And, you know, 9 times out of 10, you know, I won't do it, but I'll kind of pass them off to be like, hey, hit up this guy, hit up this
Right.
guy. They do a lot more in your genre than I do, you know, so I'd hit them up and they'd probably be more open to it.
What I would also do is like literally make a template for your pitch email. Like at one point I was managing like 10 bands, so I had a fucking template for each one. But there's also situations where like I have a template for like an initial like, hey, like I'm booking this tour, and then I had a separate template for I have a tour date canceling and like I need some short notice.
Right.
It's just super handy because like in the heat of the moment, if you're typing, it's really easy to have a grammatical error or accidentally link a wrong fucking video or page.
Right.
And doing that helps avoid it. So work smarter, not harder.
And Chris Tucker says, be humble.
Yep.
Ran into issues with that over the last couple weeks.
Oh, Lord. Word of advice, don't have your mom be your manager for your band. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. So speaking of that, no, I'm not. Okay. So speaking of that, anyway, mark this on your calendar, November 27th, Kelly Tucker's Celebration of Life, Kissing Candace, Casting Shadows, Influence, Wisher, Reject the Silence, Crafted Conviction, and Just Added Through Our Eyes. Special performances by Shudder and Stone Clover. $25 at the door.
I'm really glad Through Our Eyes is on it.
That's cool.
So now we got 2 bands that Kelly played in. So
yeah, 2 bands Kelly played in. You're playing in 2 bands. So it's going to be super cool. So yeah, hopefully, Paul, hopefully that answers your question, and good luck to you and getting out. It's a great time going out on the road. I wish.
No, it is a lot of fun.
I want to do it again. I'm so bored.
Well, I was actually talking to Steph about that the other day because, like, we're seeing all the pictures of Ava playing, like, fucking House of Blues.
God, I'm so jealous.
I know.
Playing out in Vegas.
I know. I'm just, like, sitting there. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm so happy for them. But at the same time, I'm uber jealous. Like, who wouldn't want to be in that position? She's like, well, you'll do it again someday. And I'm like, so you're okay with that? She's like, well, why wouldn't I? And I'm like, I have the green light. We need to make this happen.
Jeff Land. All right, so Kev, what's been going on? You had the Harlow show, the Smoke and Token Lounge. Take us through it. Take us through the whole hullabaloo and the whole bit, the whole show. Take us through it.
I thought the show, like how they had it all set up and everything, was pretty cool. Obviously, things got pushed back a little bit later than I would have liked, but that's pretty par for the course on most shows. But no,
well, what happened?
They just pushed it back a little bit later. Like, we were supposed to go on at 9:30, and we didn't go on until like 10:15. And with it being a Sunday, you know. But no, like.
Oh yeah, they had that Dumb Shit with Dawn or whatever that segment was on their show right before you guys played.
Yeah, so you know,
that was interesting.
No, as far as like the music goes, it was really cool. You know, seeing fucking Mike Leslie and Wolf on stage. I hadn't seen either of them in a minute. Frame 42 sounded really, really fucking good. Fucking badass trailer and shit rolling
Dude,
up.
they're out on tour now.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. They're going out with
Joyous Wolf or something like that. Yeah.
Good for them. They were actually really, really tight. Like, as a band, the sound was really good. I'm not an overall fan of that kind of music, but I mean, for their age, and they were tight. Like, it sounded pro. So, you know, kudos to them. You know, I hung out and talked to their drummer for a minute. But yeah, no, like, our set went really good. The first 2 songs were a little hairy because I couldn't hear a fucking thing at all. And I yelled at Joe, I yelled at Lauren, I yelled at Kelly. I'm like, I can't hear anything. And then we like basically almost bridged the first 2 songs. So like, I basically had to suck it up and deal with it. But
yeah.
Overall, no, it felt great. I had a really good time. The set went well. No complaints here, man.
The only complaint is you guys didn't release your damn CD like you were saying you were gonna.
I've been wanting to, but I can't make the rest of it get finished.
Do you know what the holdup is?
I think Lauren has to do vocals on one last song.
Fucking do it. Get it fucking done.
That's what I've been saying. At the end of the day, that just means one more Harlow show.
Yeah. Well, see, I called it, man. You're like, no, one more show. That's it. One more show. I'm like,
well, we're not going to not release the CD. I mean, if we would have released the CD at that show, then, you know, maybe, but who knows? I mean, shit. If they wanted to fucking go back on the road, I'd be down.
There it is. Here it goes. Here it goes. I called this weeks ago.
No, I just don't think Joe will.
I called it weeks ago.
Because he didn't. Now, this was also 5 years ago. He didn't particularly enjoy, like, the road and hotels and shit. Maybe his opinions changed. I don't know.
What happens if Lauren and Kelly are like, yo, Raz, we want to go back on the road. We have this guitar player who can step in. Maybe somebody you know, rather than like somebody just that you never played with before, or something like that. And you're like, oh man, that guitar player is kind of cool. I'd love to work with them. And they're like, yo, this guitar player, it's not Joe, wants to go on the road. And you're like, oh, who's this guitar player? Yada, yada, yada. Oh shit, that guy's fucking dope as shit. Would you do it?
My only hesitation is that Joe and Lauren write really fucking well together. And that's Harlow. I just don't know if guitar player B, I don't know if it would be the same. You know what I mean? Not saying I wouldn't dig it, but like the way Lauren and Joe write, and actually even how Joe writes and like how he puts together shit, that's why the band sounded the way it did.
Well, what if it's one of these things? You put out the album, you're like, hey, dude, let's go hit those spots that we hit when we're going out on tour and all that. And let's give this album a good push. Let's go back to those places that kicked ass and down to Texas.
I mean,
Florida,
dude, if you're telling me
it's just going to be a different guitar player.
Yeah, I would do it. No fucking question.
Here it is, guys. But here it is. I called it.
You got to also look at it like,
it's going to happen.
I don't want to go into a situation
2022, baby,
to say we're going to go out on this tour and have it just be that tour. For the sake of just going out. Yeah. I would like it to be, okay, like, we're going to write more with Joe, but this guy will fill in on the road kind of thing. Like, Fit for a King's guitar player doesn't go on any of their tours.
Yeah.
And I think their drummer has a different drummer, or they have a different drummer for this one. Anyways, I would be open to that, too, because personally, like I said,
here it is.
The writing and the sound are Joe and Lauren.
Yeah.
And if you take one of those away, I just don't think it's the same band.
Well, does it need to be the same band? What if it sounded a little bit, it takes on a new life?
I mean, I'm open to it. I'm just saying, like, I just like how we all wrote in the sound of our music.
Okay, so everybody out there in Rikki ROXX Show land, mark this on your calendar that I am calling it right now, 2022. There's going to be at least a Weekend Warrior tour coming out from Harlow. At least 3 shows, not in Michigan.
I mean, that would be easy to accomplish, so you're really not.
Like... But, if we take this back a month or so, nope, 1 show, that's it. Or now it's, we got to do the CD release. And it's like, okay, all right, CD release. Okay, so there's 2.
Ricky, did it ever occur to you that I got to dangle the carrot a little bit? I can't just give you the whole shebang. I got to mislead you sometimes a little bit.
Mark it on your calendar, guys. You hardcore listeners will probably remember Kevin saying, nope, it's just a reunion thing. I thought it'd be fun, something cool to do. And now it's like, the album's going to come out, and then we'll do a show and see what happens. Now talking, you're like, if Joe wants to go
after we played.
If we find a guitar player that I like.
No, it's not even that. Actually getting back in the same room, how quickly everything came together, and just playing the tunes again, it was a lot of fun. And the show was too. Had a really, really good time.
Damn.
If I didn't have fun at the show, would I still want to do it? No, of course not. So there's a lot of variables at play here, Ricky.
It is.
It's not as cut and dry as you make it.
It is cut and dry.
Mr. fucking clickbait dude over
See,
here.
I saw this right from the beginning. I'm like, I know this road. Reunions are never one show.
Oh, Shudder's only done reunions.
Yeah, about every 2 years.
Yeah, because fucking guitar players, man.
Speaking of Shudder, they're going to be playing November 27th at the Kelly Tucker Celebration of Life at the Growfoot Ballroom in Pontiac, Michigan. So what else has been going on other than the Harlow show? Big anniversary for the Razlogs.
Yes.
Baller Razlog buying $70 steaks.
Hey, man. COVID made it so you couldn't go out and do that thing for a while.
Kevin is fuck you money.
I don't have fuck you money.
6-digit baller.
No, you should have seen one of the clients I went to the other day for work. That dude's got fuck you money. So we had our anniversary dinner. We went to D Prime and MGM, which I think was previously it's not Gordon Ramsay, Wolfgang Puck's restaurant.
Okay.
So apparently they either shut down, went out of business, and now it's something else. Food was fucking amazing. It was really, really damn good.
Yeah.
Worth the money.
Yeah.
We gambled a little bit after, lost $100, so yeah.
You see the big news? They're opening up the borders again.
Yeah, but I'm not back, so.
Well, now you can go back to. So here's the question: do you get vaxxed to be able to have that freedom to go back over into Canada and do your gambling? No.
No, because in a year and a half from now, nobody's gonna give a fuck about that shit, guaranteed. And I'll be like, haha, you all fucking got jabbed for no fucking reason.
That's what they said about a year ago too. This will be over, in the winter. It'll be over. We'll be done with it.
We'll see. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna go do something to go gamble. I think that's pretty fucking dumb, honestly.
It's just a lot of gambling. You're shooting something up. Okay, I'm doing okay. Didn't die.
I honestly would really like to go back over to Canada just because we have a lot of fun over there.
Yeah.
Not even for gambling, but to go to Toronto. I would love to take Steph to Montreal because I've gone there once when I was younger, and I'd love to go back. And plus, traveling to New York and shit's easier driving through Canada. So
right.
So aside from that, working on the fucking new car, having fun with that.
Project car number 2.
Yeah, I got basically most of the interior stripped already. I got new carpet coming from Tennessee. So steadily keeping my hands busy with that. And then got some video games I explained off here. I don't think anybody really gives a fuck about Nintendo Switch, so yeah. I'm not really going to talk about that. But yeah, otherwise, just working, man, and jamming with multiple bands. So my schedule has been fucking retardedly crazy because
who are you jamming with now?
Well,
casting's been out.
Well, no, so casting, we were obviously doing our thing for all these other shows.
Yeah.
Georgia Need has been for all these other shows too.
Yeah.
And Harlow has been.
Yeah.
Well, now that Harlow's done, now Shudder has to because we've got the Memorial show.
Oh, yeah.
So, my schedule's just, it's, all over the
You're
fucking
just
place.
swapping bands out.
Well, even my dad said last night at dinner, he's like, oh, you're playing, every fucking week. How's that going? How many bands are you in?
Jeez. So is Shudder going to be getting back in there? You were telling me a couple of weeks ago that there's some guitar issues.
So yeah, our actual first practice is this Thursday. So Steve is apparently going to school for something else, in doctor, healthcare, whatever. So he was like, well, I don't know what my schedule's going to be. So he typically works, I think, 3/12s because he's a male nurse. And I believe most of the time when he works, they're 15-hour shifts, but the hours are pretty wonky too.
Yeah.
It was when I worked in the plant, that kind of shit. So between that and school, he's like, I just don't know what my schedule is going to be, which is understandable. But we also made this commitment back in fucking April. Mm-hmm. So I hit up Danny, hit up John, and I was like, if we need a fucking guitar player, I need to make sure we have one.
Yeah.
So we have 2 on standby if need be, but we're hoping Steve will. I originally actually wanted John.
Yeah.
Because Kelly and I were in the band when John was in the band.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be cool. Plus, I really wanted to play a lot of our older shit.
Yeah.
And Steve, I don't think knows as much of it. Alex came in after John, so he knows most of it. So we'll be fine. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll see what happens Thursday.
Jeez, taking Casting Shadows guitar player.
Oh, really?
Well, you said you brought Danny. I'm like, I haven't fucking heard from Danny, so I'm like, oh, maybe he's gonna quit casting.
No. He's got like this crazy ass neighbor.
No.
Like crazy ass neighbor, and he's back to teaching, and his schedule's been pretty busy. So
yeah,
I was more worried like something happened to him.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, like nobody's fucking heard from you. Like you don't read any messages. He's like, oh, sorry, bro. I'm like, dude, I thought you like fucking like died or like got hit by a bus or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's good.
All right, so Shudder picking back up on Thursday. Casting, I don't know what's going on with Jeff. He unfortunately lost his stepdad this last week, so kind of gave him his space. I think the what do they call it? Memorial or whatever for it was like on Saturday.
It was already rough before that happened.
Yeah.
And like there was a couple practices where he's like, yeah, you know, this is the last time the kids are going to see him, that whole thing. So he can take as much time as he needs as far as I'm concerned. Like that's got to be terrible to deal with. So
nah, fuck that. Come on, Jeff. Let's get back in the saddle, man. Dude, literally when my dad died,
everybody processes things different though. So
yeah, well, like when my dad died, I think I took 4 days off from Dirty Whiskey, and then I think he died on like a Tuesday, and so I think I skipped one because we were practicing on like Monday and Thursday or something like that. And it was like right when I joined the band. So that's how long ago that was. And I was like, dude, just give me the rest of the week and the weekend. Cause I had to go down to Kentucky and deal with all of it. I'm like, I'm going to be out of town. So when I come back, we'll get back into this.
You didn't have any kids though, right?
Huh?
You didn't have any kids though at that time.
No, I was, when did he die? I gotta look up the date.
My God.
2009. So I was,
I'm imagining that being a different hurdle than you had to deal with
right
when you got kids involved. But yeah, I mean, everyone's different. I mean, I don't know how I'd react if that happened to me.
Yeah.
Would it be me being fine for 2 days and then break the fuck down? Or would I just be like, give me a week? Don't know.
Right. So Jeff Land, hopefully everything is good with you, and sorry for your loss and all that, and hope to see you soon. Take as much time as you need. I doubt he's even gonna listen to this shit, but he'll usually pop in the last 5 minutes of the show. Hey guys, dip.
Yeah, and then he says you're talking shit.
Yeah. So yeah. Condolences to the Land family. So yeah, this week I'm still off work. Now I'm not going back until November. So they extended another 2 weeks. So I still don't have a damn job. So that means I'm full on dad duty.
And day trading.
Well, it's not, I'm doing swing trades, but I'm up all day trading stocks and options and making
Those
attendees.
Are rookie numbers.
Well, I can't day trade.
Ricky's living like the Big Short life.
I can't day trade until I get 25 grand in my account. So, so I can't day trade. So I have to swing trade everything. So kind of sucks.
Is that on your like picture board? Like get to day trading and you got like the little like percentage and you just color it in, getting closer to 100%?
No, because what ends up happening is if I did that, I'd have to have an eraser and bring it back down when I have my big losses. But I've been doing pretty good. I've been doing that. But it's like this weekend, you know, Nikki's worked, yesterday and today she was working like day shifts, and I have no babysitter on the weekends. So I'm like, oh, fuck, I have 2 kids that I have to deal with for like 10 hours straight. I have my 8-year-old who just, she pretty much just stays with us. I'm like, play your Switch and go away. And so I'm dealing with this 4-month-old. So I'm waking up at 6 a.m. every day. Well, not every day, but yesterday and today. And we talked a couple weeks ago about how my son hates me and all this shit.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit better.
Did you do the finger in the alcohol?
There's a reason there ain't much of this left. No, I'm starting to kind of, I guess, learn his rhythms and his, schedule and all this shit. So it's like, okay, well, you're kicking your feet a lot. You want to play. Geek, throw him in his toys and he'll dick around there for a little bit. I'll force feed him a whole bunch of milk and hope he passes out. Then he'll pass out for an hour. Then I'll go take a nap. And it hasn't been bad. I still hate fucking doing it. I still hate babies, but it's a little more tolerable now. And
I still hate babies.
I still hate babies. Love the kid to death, but I hate babies.
I can't wait in 18 years to replay that segment for your kids. I hate babies.
When he graduates,
this is what your dad was talking about.
When he graduates from high school, somebody's gonna find this clip.
Oh God,
I hate babies. Yeah,
man. When your kids are in high school, they're gonna have it rough.
See, I don't mind that because I can relate like a teenager because I'm still a teenager at heart.
You are pretty childish.
Yeah, so I can deal with that, you know. But anyway, yeah. Yesterday, I was talking to you off air about how I got fucking sick. So no, to everybody out there, it wasn't I was drinking too much. So I went out.
And it wasn't Rona.
No, it wasn't Rona. So I went out last night. Went over the Diesel because I told Nikki when she got home, I'm like, yo, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Goddamn kids.
I've been like, I told her, I'm like, dude, I've been around kids, you know, and not talking to like, because we didn't have a show last week. So I'm like, I haven't had a conversation with an adult in like a week and a half at this point. You know, we haven't had band practice or anything like this. I'm like, I need to get the hell out because I'm like, I was at that point where I'd be like, hey, Olivia, let's talk. And I'd just draw on this long ass conversation with my daughter for like an hour about God knows what. So I'm like, babe, I need to get the fuck out of here. So I go up to Diesel and ran into a good friend of ours, Jason Kane, and, you know, had a couple of drinks. I think I had like 3 or 4 Jack and Cokes and like 1 or 2 shots, which for me is not a lot. And
those are rookie numbers. Gotta get those numbers up.
Well, I was like, yo, I ain't got a job, so I ain't got that kind of dough. You know, I brought like $40 with me. And so
good thing you weren't at the token.
Oh God. Yeah, we got
that would have been like 2 drinks.
Yeah, we got to touch on that in a minute. But so somebody got a pizza and I'm like, oh dude, well, they're like, hey, you want a slice or 2? I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? So I have a couple slices and, you know, I'm home by 12:30 and, you know, I go right to sleep because I have to be up at 6 o'clock today, you know, when Nikki leaves. So I go to sleep probably about 1 o'clock, about 2:30 rolls around. I'm throwing up in my mouth. And luckily I caught it before it exited my mouth. So I have a mouth, you know, full of vomit. So I run to the bathroom and spit it all out like this.
A real man swallows his vomit in front of a woman. Dwight Schrute.
I should have just threw up on her. This is what you get for leaving me with these kids. But
hey, Steph projectile vomited on me once.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, it was bad.
Oh God.
That's a story for another day.
Oh jeez. So it's like I'm throwing up and, you know, I just feel like shit. It's not like a hangover like in the head, it's all in the gut. You know, I'm just like, and my throat feels like hot razors and shit like that. I'm like, oh my God, this is awful. And I just keep throwing up. And then, you know, at some point I just run out of stuff to throw up. So I'm like dry heaving and shit like this. And I'm like, well, I'm obviously dehydrated. So I start knocking down some Dasanis and shit like that. And stays down for a little bit, throw up. So it's just water. And I was doing this, rinse and repeating.
I would have just started chugging beer because throwing up beer actually feels good. From the carbonation and shit.
Jesus.
And it's all foam. It doesn't hurt.
So it's like I'm dealing with all this crap until probably about 1 afternoon when I finally could start keeping shit down. I'm like, I don't know if it was the pizza or I got some kind of like little bug or something like that, but I was just like dry heaving and throwing up.
That's crazy.
All like for probably a good 10, 11 hours. You know,
that sounds like food poisoning. And it's funny because when we were out to dinner the other night, Steph and I were telling my parents we ate at Nero's, which is in Caesars. It's like a really, really nice fucking steakhouse.
Yeah.
We had comp dinner, so, you know, we were getting top-notch, like, expensive-ass shit. So we went in there, we each got French onion soup, and it was so weird. Within, like, 5 minutes of eating that shit, we both were, like, feeling, like, really, like, queasy and just, like, weren't feeling really well.
Yeah.
And I actually believe it was an anniversary dinner that we had.
Yeah.
So, like, we even told, like, the waitress, we're like, yeah, you know, we just ate this French onion and now both of us don't feel good. Coincidentally, the lady was like, oh, you know, I feel so bad. She boxed up our dinner. She's like, do you guys want any desserts? And we're like, what do you have? And they have, like, this giant menu.
Yeah, you have a stomach issue. You're feeling like shit. Yeah, let's eat some dairy.
Well, no, we said we were getting everything to go because we weren't feeling good.
Yeah.
And it was weird because within 5 minutes of eating that French onion soup, both of us were like, ugh.
Yeah.
This lady literally gave us one of everything. So we had like 2 bags of fucking desserts. And we were actually staying at Caesars. We ended up just grabbing all of our shit and drove. It was only like 25 minutes from Caesars to here. We ended up saying we didn't even stay the night. And then we both got home. We fucking crashed immediately. Then the next day we were fine.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
So yeah, that was the thing. And so going back to the token thing, you're thinking at the token. So I did end up going. I know I said on the show, I'm not sure if I'm going to go because money's tight. Luckily I got my bonus on Friday, so I had a little bit of money to play with. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll make the hour drive. I'll fucking go. So I go, and great time, talking to a lot of people, West Side people I don't see a lot because they don't come over to the East Side. So talking with a lot of people, having a good time. And so end of the night. At this point, end of the night, 11 o'clock,
For a Sunday.
quarter after 11. So like, okay, last call. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm still okay. I have enough money for one more drink. I'll, out of my allowance that I brought with me, and got one more drink. So I go talk to Lauren, singer from Harlow. She's sitting at the merch booth packing everything up. And 5 minutes after they call last call, door guy storms by and takes my drink out of my hand, and Harlow fans, Dan and Ash, they're sitting there talking to Lauren too, grab their beer because they were both up there with me for last call,
right?
So he takes them and it's like, you guys got to go. We're closed. And he literally like sheep herded us out the door. So I came home like angry, pissed. I'm like, this is
typical Rikki.
This is some bullshit.
I'm gonna make waves on the internet, baby.
So this is some bullshit. This is fucking awful. I'm like, their drinks are expensive.
Oh, you mean my $12 Heineken?
It's like I would have been so pissed if it was like a $4, $5 Jack and Coke, but they were like $8, $9.
Oh yeah, plus tip.
And a little, not a big fucking cup. They're small little glasses. So I'm like, dude, I'm a guy that's on a budget, and I pretty much had $8 just pretty much pissed away by a
you could have bought a stock for that.
A shitty door. I know, I could have. And so I posted a thing on Facebook about it, and the next day, John Anton, the guy who owns the token, all this, I've known him for 20 plus. I've known him since I was a kid, and he's like, "Bro, you should have hit me up. I'm so sorry this happened, and you should let me know. When it happened, I would have taken care of it." I'm like, well, I would have, but I was pretty much just pushed out the door that, hey, we're closed, get the fuck out.
Right.
So he hit me up, and I'm like, dude, I appreciate you reaching out to me like this, and not, going on there and blasting me for it. I'm like, everybody else is cool. The wait staff is cool. Everybody was cool. It was just the one dude. So he's like, well, Rikki, I'm getting lambasted right now. If you could just delete that, that'd be great. So I deleted it.
Powers of Facebook.
I deleted it. He's like, dude, I'm getting a bunch of shit from people, now lambasting me for this. So I'm like, okay. So I took it down and wrote another post. Hey, just to let you know, John reached out to me. It's going to be taken care of. The door guy's pretty much a douche. So yeah, it was a thing. I was pissed. I came home and just did radio DJ I didn't do anything on camera or anything like that. It's just playing songs and shit like that and drinking and
having fun.
Working
off that anger.
So yeah, that was what's up. So going over into the chat, Steve Ingill, we'd like to see you play gigs in Canada. Steve, if you're vaccinated, you can come over to America now. Make it a hell of a lot easier. Because I don't think Kevin's ever going to get vaccinated, so I don't think Canada shows are going to happen.
Well, and honestly, even before all this shit, getting a show in Canada was tough to begin with. I mean, I've tried and I've looked at a lot of different angles of going over there, short of everyone driving separately and, we're going to a reunion kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually pretty fucking difficult. And if you get stopped, which I've already said my piece on anytime I drive my Elantra over, they bring the drug dogs every single fucking time.
Yeah.
I don't anticipate it going really well if I have a fucking trailer full of gear.
Well, maybe it's just one of those things, be like, hey, everybody just bring your guitars and maybe we can borrow amps, one of the opening bands.
Well, either way, I've just heard a lot of difficulty going to Canada. On the flip side, I've heard it's a fucking breeze for Canadian bands to come here.
Yeah.
Which I'm a little jealous about. But.
So Steve says, Razlog, that band Shudder sounds rather decent from what I've seen and heard. Yeah, they're a decent band. I mean,
we're also talking like 2012 technology, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Be a little gentle.
So, What time are we? Oh shit, we're at 10 minutes to 8. So we got to get into our Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week. We got to come back, do our Beer of the Week, and then I got to hit up Dakota and get on Zoom with him where we talking about Black Swan Dive Bomb. It's going to be super cool. So we're getting into our Pump It or Dump It Band of the Week. This is a band called Poor Little Things out of Bern, Switzerland. Transplants out of Australia. If you're a fan of 70s and 80s rock, glam rock, and pop music, you might be into this. They have a song called Fired Up off their just released like a couple weeks ago album Deal Breaker. You can check it out on Spotify and all that. Facebook.com/Poor Little Things. Quick description on these guys. Poor Little Things are singer Tina Jackson and guitarist Dave Talon, an Australian retro rock duo based out of Bern, Switzerland. Dave is also a member of Rollerball, the Marlboro Men, and former member of Kings of the Sun. 2018 saw the release of their self-titled 5-track EP. In 2019, they released their debut album Disco's Burning, and their new album Deal Breaker dropped on October 1st. The first two singles from the new album, Ball and Chain and Fired Up, which we're going to be listening to in a minute, have had some airplay on independent radio, including multiple spins from Rodney Bingenheimer, whoever the fuck that is, and Mike Rogers, whoever the fuck that is.
Well, actually, I'm going to Google it, and it's like some big, huge, important thing.
Probably. The PLT sound is a mix of 70s and 80s rock with a touch of Oz rock, whatever the hell that is, pop and glam.
I'm guessing Wizard of Oz rock.
Okay. Paying tribute to the days when rock and pop were one and the same, a flashback to a good time. So super cool. We're going to check out the video for this. Is an interesting video. It looks like they did it in like Paint.
Like Microsoft Paint or actual Paint?
Like the graphics look like Paint or something like that, but they made a music video out of it, like a moving music video.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, we had Blood of Angels out of Tampa, Florida, and their song Odin's Wrath received 15 votes. Kind of cool. So I'm going to hit those guys up. So we're going to play some Poor Little Things out of Switzerland, their song Fired Up. We're going to come back, do Beer of the Week. I'm going to get Zoom fired up. We're going to get Dakota Starr from Black Swan Dive Bomb, formerly of New Day Revolution and Dirty Whiskey. We're going to get him on the tip and talk to him. So here's Poor Little Things right now. We'll be right back. Episode number 119 of the Rikki ROXX Show right here on Rocks100.com. And we are... Wow. Hello, feedback. We are back. That was Poor Little Things, Bern, Switzerland, and their song, Fire It Up. Kevin Razlog is just rolling in. He had to go do a quick get a quick halfie in, I guess. So yeah, if you like that
I
band,
like the video. That was really cool.
Yeah, you could tell how it was kind of like that paint kind of look to it.
I mean, it's kind of like cartoony.
Yeah.
But no, I dig shit like that. I think it's cool.
So if you liked it, head on over www.facebook.com/rocks100. Find the Pump It or Dump Band of the Week post. Give it the big thumbs up if you dig it. Give it the... If you didn't dig that so much, definitely I enjoyed it.
Steve said it perfectly. Very 80s MTV looking.
Yeah, and
just like way better than 80s looking.
Yeah, and Steve Wright, he said sounds like a light Motley Crue. So that's probably why I'd like it. It's a little bit of Motley Crue in there.
Well, of course.
So we're going to move into one of my favorite segments. This is Beer of the Week. Normally I have the drop for it, but I got to redo. God damn, I should have opened the box during the break. This is horrible. God, what a box. Jesus Christ.
Not the first time you've said that, I'm sure.
What a box, baby. So this week we are going to be having Sweetwater Brewing Company out of Atlanta, Georgia, and their G13 IPA. This is a 6.0 ABV, 48 IBUs. This is an American IPA. I bought this for $12.99 for 6 12-ounce cans. I'm going to show it in the camera here for Steve Dave if he's still hanging out. There it is. This is the 420 strain. Hopefully it's not very marijuana-y because I don't like marijuana-y.
God, look at that aggressive fucking pour. It's all foam. My God, Ricky.
It tastes like weed.
You need to take like a mixology course or something.
I know, I did. That was a pretty bad pour. But description on this one, a G13 IPA is a strange new strain indeed. We took the dank hop profile you'd expect from a hazy IPA and married it with terpenes and natural hemp flavors. The result is a big yet balanced IPA that mimics the aroma and taste of a heady green G13. G13 IPA is a sticky super hybrid that's ready to rip. Pungent and dank aromas on this terpene-infused IPA fill the room once the beer is opened. We went with an aggressive dry hop schedule, which interlaces nicely with the unique flavors to bring forward citrus and earthy notes, followed by a resinous finish. I should have looked up the description before I bought it. Oh, God.
Or talk to a pothead.
Yeah, this one's fire. Columbus and Simcoe in the boil and dry hop. Kevin Razlog, what are your thoughts on this one?
It's pretty damn good. I mean, I don't know if it's like the whole weed thing that makes it kind of enticing to... I mean, who knows if like all that shit like has like a huge like direct effect on the flavor. But I mean, I actually think it's pretty damn solid because you know how I am with IPAs. I'm kind of on the fence with some of them.
Yeah.
This one actually is pretty damn good. Like, I literally almost feel like I'm drinking weed a little bit. Not in a bad way.
Okay.
Not like I'm just throwing nugs in my mouth or anything like that, which now I can actually, like, openly say that shit on the show since I don't work for a global company anymore.
Oh, okay.
No,
Kevin's a stoner.
Yeah. I think it's good. Like, it's got a good flavor. It kind of has a little bit of that dryness that normally... If there's a lot of it, I'm not particularly a fan of, but I think it's like pretty well balanced. I like it. I think it's pretty damn solid.
So it says it has natural hemp flavors. And when I read that, I immediately thought back to when you said that you used to make hemp necklaces.
So you think I'm just gnawing on hemp?
Does this beer taste like your hemp necklaces that you used to make as a young Kevin Razlog?
No, but it's got like a really earthy kind of like mouthfeel taste, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I personally think it's really good. Like, it doesn't just taste like any other beer that I've had, but it goes down really smooth, too. And it's sort of refreshing. I like it.
All right, so Beer Advocate gave this an 8.9 out of 10. Man, I'm already feeling buzzed. The weed.
Oh, my God.
I think I'm high now, guys. BeerAdvocate.com gave this an 8.9 out of 10. Kevin Razlog, what are you thinking?
Honestly, I'll go like an 8.5. I think it's solid. Steve Engel says weed's legal in Canada. Yeah, it's legal. Well, I've had my medical card for like 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's basically legal for me. We get delivery and shit all the time. So
look at you. I'm talking to Dakota Starr here saying, did I open the meeting? Yes, I did. Yep. So yeah, this one.
I'm waiting to see if your anti-weed bias tanks your score.
It doesn't tank it. I mean, it's not like they're trying to hide that there's that kind of flavor in there. So basing it on the description, what the description tells you, yes, it definitely has those flavors. Yeah, it's like I've never drank weed, or anything like that.
I'm not making weed smoothies every morning.
I've told you at practice, I've smoked crack out of a lead pipe before, but I've never drank weed. I don't know if you. I mean, if you could, this would be it. Yeah, it definitely has that flavor, that kind of marijuana-esque flavor. It's definitely there, but it's not so overwhelming as to it being like you feel like you're drinking weed.
It's like drinking weed, but not like drinking weed.
It has that flavor in there, but it's not so overwhelming that you can't taste the rest of the profile of the beer.
Yeah, it's got like the flowery, potpourri-ish a little bit, but I normally don't particularly enjoy that because some of the shit you've bought before is like uber strong.
Yeah,
I think it falls right in the middle. For me, it's perfect.
Yeah, it blends. It blends well. I'm not a huge fan of weed or that taste, but
if it was crack, Rikki would be beer bonging out of a lead pipe.
But it's very well balanced with the other hops and all that in there. So with that said, yeah, it's if you're into the weed thing, yeah, this is definitely a beer that you'd want to get. It definitely has that taste. But on the other hand, if you're an IPA guy and you like IPAs, it definitely has that taste too. And with that kind of hemp flavor in it, it's a different profile than I've ever had out of an IPA.
We can tell who their target audience is for this beer.
And looking back over all the years and all the IPAs I've had, I'm actually now very surprised that this is the first time I've come across a beer with that kind of flavor profile in it. Because hops and all that stuff that they put into IPAs, I'm like, well, damn, why did they never, put, weed in a beer?
Well, weed,
I'm sure they have it,
isn't water soluble, so that might be part of the reason. It might be a little bit trickier to actually do. So, like, for instance, if you're like cooking with weed, like you've got to have like a butter medium to have the THC attached to. Because otherwise, like back in the day, like there would be videos of people making weed brownies and they would just dump all the fucking weed right in the brownie mix, right?
Right.
That's not how it works. Like you're just going to be eating weed and it's not going to taste fucking good at all. So you've literally got to go to the molecular level and break it down that way.
Look at this guy, he's like a fucking chemist now. Gotta go down to the molecular level.
Well, I mean, I did do a lot of shit before, so I've never mentioned it on the show because I was kind of out of fear of like, oh, Chrysler's gonna fucking shit can me.
Right.
No, I don't work for him, so I don't give a fuck anymore.
Oh, Jesus. So, as far as how they describe it, I'd give them a 9, because it's exactly how
the execution was well.
How they said it was going to taste. It's definitely that, but my personal taste, I'd knock it down because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan. I don't like weed. I don't like the taste. I don't like the smell. I don't like anything that has to do with it. Even when I do smoke it occasionally, if I do take one big rip, is that what you call it? A rip?
Sure.
A toke?
Well, it depends on the medium that you're smoking out of. If it's a bong, it could be a big bong toke. I mean, who knows?
A toke? Is that so? What should I?
What was the movie they made people watch in like middle school back in the day?
Reefer Madness.
They got to you with that, didn't they?
It's just never, since I was like maybe for about a year, I smoked weed. Probably from 15 to 16, I'd smoke weed with anybody who had it. But then, and it was cool. I dug it. But then after that, for some reason, I just get sick every time I'd smoke weed. So it's like every once in a while, on the way back up when I was coming back from Blue Ridge with you, you had the little vape weed thing. And, I took a couple hits off and I'm like,
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, like a couple times I did. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? It's Raz's
when
car.
in Rome.
I'm in Raz's car, so if I throw up, it's in his car, not mine.
Well, the one thing, though, that I know that you mentioned, when you were driving down with Jeff, you were basically hotboxing fucking joints the whole time. And I can understand from someone that doesn't enjoy smoking pot that probably isn't the best environment for you to want to be in. And, the whole ride down, Danny and I were just hitting that fucking pen. And, dude, that shit was solid. Like, we were driving through the fucking mountains, and Danny's like, oh, do you want another hit? I'm like, I think I'm good because we're driving through fucking mountains.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, the fact that it doesn't have, like, the weed odor. Yeah. I remember being in fucking, it was right after I graduated from college, and that's when, like, the medicinal shit started blowing up. We would be out at, like, bars in downtown Rochester, and all my buddies would have those vape pens in the restaurant, just fucking going to town on it.
Yeah.
And, like, I remember so many people like, oh, those fuckers are smoking weed over there. And, like, no one said shit, like, to the staff or anything.
Right.
Nobody actually kicked us out. I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this, when you smell it, it doesn't smell like weed. It smells like an IPA.
Yeah,
it's pretty much just the taste. You're gonna get that kind of hempy thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go 7.5 on it. It other than the weed thing, it's your traditional IPA. Your traditional.
I think it's a cool take on differentiating the IPA, though.
Yeah, it's if it was a normal IPA, I'd without the weed, I'd give it like a 7, a nice middle of the road IPA. I gave it that extra half point because it's like, well, it's a different
extra half inch goes a long way.
Does it? So I gave it that extra half because it's a different take on it. I'm surprised that they've never dry hopped with weed before or anything like that. Or I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure they have. I've just never had one. So yeah, it's definitely, and for the price point, $12.99 for 6 12-ounce cans, it's not going to drain the bank too much, and
I'd buy it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. But, it's a middle of the road IPA. If you're of that ilk that enjoys that taste, of weed, then yeah, this is definitely a beer for you. You probably give it a fucking 9. Have a nice joint. You're drinking it, you're smoking it, you're injecting it, whatever the fuck you do with weed.
Snoop Dogg would approve.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg would love this one
for shizzle.
Instead of his Corona commercials, he should be walking around with these things. So super cool. All right, so we are going to get into some black.
Hold on, Steve mentioned in the chat.
Yeah,
he wrote a paper in college about the archaeology of Mesopotamia during the Neolithic period when I was high on weed. I got a B+. Kudos to you, Steve.
Archaeology of Mesopotamia during the Neolithic period. That's why I never went to college. God, that sounds so fucking boring.
Steve Ingles dropping fucking bombs in the chat.
So fucking boring. Steve Dave, the Cowboys won. Now I can rejoin the show. Well, there it is.
He also went from IPAs to weeded bourbons. So
our beer guy's gone.
No,
we have a bourbon dude.
He's on a big bourbon. Like him and I were messaging. And by the way, thanks for unfriending me on Facebook, you dick. But he said his big thing now is bourbons. And him and I were going back and forth a little bit. Dude, he sent me so much fucking information on all these different fucking bourbons. And I haven't done enough of the research, but it's, when we were talking off air about like collector's shit.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like what he's into is like these rare, like crazy fucking bourbons. So it piqued my interest. I'm definitely interested in looking into it. But the thing is, I don't drink liquor.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be really easy for me to just be like, oh, well, I'll just set it aside. I'm not gonna. Whereas you would be like, oh,
I don't know.
I'm gonna crack this motherfucker open and get turned.
I got one bottle of Maker's Mark because I actually went to the distillery and all that, and they let you kind of dip your own thing because it has that wax crap on top. So I still have like a 12-year-old thing of Maker's Mark sitting upstairs. So if it's collectible and it's cool, I'll set it aside.
Steve corrected me. He said we weren't ever friends because neither of us could send a friend request.
Wow, calling you out.
Hey, you know what? Maybe I was high.
So Dakota, he's hit me up on DMs. He's like, it's not a hard band name because I always mess up a Black Swan Dive Bomb.
Swan.
I always want to say Black Dive Swan Bomb or something like that. It's too many words. It's too many words.
That's why I liked Shudder. Harlow. One word, straight to the point.
It's like for a while, New Day Revolution was hard for me because I'm like, wait, there's 3 words in this band name?
Day New Revolution.
New Revolution Day. You know, 1 or 2 words. 1 or 2 words. So we're going to get into Black Swan Dive Bomb. I'll get it. I swear.
Dive Black Swan.
I'll get it. I swear. So we're gonna play some Black Swan Dive Bomb. Man, this weed beer. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. The weed beer.
So you know why we pulled you over? The weed beer, huh?
That's like a double whammy,
right?
You're high and drunk. Yeah, it's that weed beer.
So is it a DUI or operating?
So we're going to play Black Swan Dive Bomb, their first single that they came out with a couple weeks ago called Back for More. We debuted it on the show. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to pull in Dakota Starr on the show. We're going to talk to him about the new band. We're going to go back into the glory days. Well, for me. Dirty Whiskey, New Day Revolution. We're talking about all that.
The good old days before you left them. That's basically the meme for Ricky's life.
Before I quit both of them. The glory days that I just quit and I said, fuck it.
Well, you were smart. You're like, I don't think it's going to get much better from here. Yoink, I'm out.
I was talking to Jason Kane about that. He's like, dude, you always quit bands. I'm like, I know when they're on their way down. I just jump off before it completely blows up.
Ricky applies this to stocks.
I wish I did. I wouldn't be broke. All right, so Black Swan Dive Bomb, Back for More. We're going to play this. We're going to come back, talk to Dakota Starr. Episode number 119 of the Rikki ROXX Show right here on ROXX100.com.
You're selling me out, then breaking me down. There is no cure for your disease. Toss me out like a piece of meat. Drain my brain and you're smiling. There is no cure for your disease. Your disease. What are you hoping? Hear the sound, battle drums. What are you hoping? Ring the bell. Another round. Knocked down, left for dead on the side of the road, living with regret. I'm broke, bruised, battered and scarred. Broken, bruised, but I'm back for more. Pretending that you're just like me. Take pleasure in suffering. Look on your face as everything. Love the sound of the slavery. Slowly watching people bleed. Look on your face as everything. Everything. What are you hoping? Hear the sound, battle drums. What are you hoping? Ring the bell. Another round. Knocked down, left for dead on the side of the road, living with regret. I'm broke, bruised, battered and scarred. Broken, bruised, but I'm back for more. Been knocked down, beat down, knocked down, beat, and I'm back for more. Been knocked down, beat down, knocked down, beat, and I'm back for more. Knocked down, left for dead on the side of the road, living with regret. I'm broke, bruised, battered and scarred. Broken, bruised, and I'm back for more. Been knocked down, left for dead on the side of the road, living with regret. I'm broke, bruised, battered and scarred. Broken, bruised, and I'm back for more. Back for more. Back for more.
And we are back. That was Back for More by Black Swan Dive Bomb. And we're going to pull up Dakota Starr right now and see if we can get him in. Let's see if Zoom decides to work, because we usually get this problem. All right, there it is. We can't see you, but can we hear you?
Hey, Dakota says what?
Yeah, okay. Let me go back in. So Dakota is there.
Remember last time, wasn't it just one fucking setting that you didn't check?
Yeah, and I'm going back into that now. And I'm going to try to get it. This is horrible. We'll eventually get Dakota. Dakota, you there? Is your mic on?
This is like the fucking pregame and postgame Red Wing shit.
Let's try this.
With all the media people, none of their shit's turned on.
Dakota, can you hear me now? This is great. Okay, that works. Dakota, you there?
Wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. All right, we can hear you there.
I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, so I just got to work on the video here. So
I could hear you the whole time. I could hear Raz talking his shit.
Hey, I was just informing the listeners.
And I'm just like, I'm here, guys. I'm here.
Okay, so he's there. I'm going to work on the video here for a second. Kev, go talk.
So Dakota, the new
What
band.
up, buddy?
The new band. I'm good. How are you doing, by the way?
I'm good, man. I'm living the dream.
So the band name. We got to start there. Give us the
why
lowdown.
can't Rikki get 4 words in a row?
He drank that weed beer, man.
Dude, every day? He ranks it a 7, but I think it must be a 10 deep inside, because he must be drinking it every day.
Yeah.
All right, get into the band name right off the bat. You know, what does what does your band name
What does a
mean?
Dakota...
I'm not going to describe the band until you tell the people what the name is again.
Black Swan Dive Bomb. Tell us about the origin of the name.
That's what I do with the students. I'm like, and what did we talk about today? What was it? And then they have to tell me.
So you've been actually very relaxed this entire time Rikki's butchered the band's name.
Yes.
You didn't take your shoe and try and throw it at
No,
him.
he knows how much of a dumbass I am. He's used to this.
I've been in numerous bands with this man. I know him very well.
I don't know whether to feel bad or proud.
Jesus Christ. All right, so get into, the band, because you put this whole thing together during the mess of coronavirus.
The very relaxing year that was 2020.
Yeah, so get into how you put a band together, with social distancing and the whole bit.
Let's see, where do we start? Well, it took a long time. It all fell together pretty quickly after I found Woody, the guitar player. But I put a lot of ads out pretty much like every week. It was like Facebook ads and the Craigslist ads, and he finally responded to me. But before Woody, it was just numerous emails of just lots of angry people just emailing me to let me know that they thought I was really dumb for trying to start a political rock band, and that I was an idiot and a moron, and they definitely like to give me their opinions.
Okay, so
you're putting up like a Craigslist post like, "Hey, I'm looking for a guitar player," and they're going out of their way to say, "Hey, by the way, you're a fucking piece of shit."
Yeah, well, because I was like, I'm looking to start a political rock band. So hey, these are the bands I'm into. This is what I write about. So I'm looking to do something in this style. And it was just like, hey, just so everyone knows, I'm very left-leaning, but that's what I write about. So I want people in that type of vein, and that was it. I was not trying to start any.
You don't want no Republicans in your band.
I just don't think they would like what I write about. So I figured it would be better to be upfront with them.
Fuck you! I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah. Well, then like every day you get the notification like, oh, guitar player responding, like, oh, maybe this is the guy. Like, let's click on this. And it would just be like, fuck you, libtard, fuck you, snowflake. And
oh my God.
He's like, cool. Good to know.
I'm surprised you didn't call the band something like Snowflake. Snowflake Dive Bomb.
Maybe that should be the name of the next record.
That's 3 words. That's way too many words.
Or
3
just
words.
call it like Snowflakes. They're great.
All right, so you put this whole thing together, and we've talked about this. The social distancing thing.
Hey,
during
when's the video gonna pop up, buddy?
it's
alive.
It's up.
I see your cheetah print hat.
Oh, good.
Sexy.
What am I? But I don't see you.
Well, no, you got it not on the Zoom thing. You're going to see it on the YouTube video.
Oh, I thought I was gonna see your face.
Oh my god.
No, you've seen my face enough, man.
You failed IT 101 very, very swiftly.
Listen, I only do Teams meetings. I don't know how Zoom works.
Oh Lord.
So you put this band together during COVID, during lockdown, during the height of social distancing, and we've had this talk, when you put the band together, you guys were staying at different corners of the basement and all that with the masks on, the whole bit. Was that like a weird thing? Because it's like starting a new band, you kind of want to
interact
and be closer
boys.
And be boys and all that, but it's like you're on different sides of the basement while you're writing all this stuff.
It was super weird, and you're trying to come up with songs. You're trying to get to know people, and so we all know, like when you're playing like on stage or whatnot, when someone messes up or there's just something different, you can make that eye contact, and everyone gets back in sync.
Like when Ricky misses that one note and I'm like death staring him.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all we had was our eyes.
Yeah.
But like we didn't know each other well enough to be like, what does that look mean? So yeah, the first 6 months was really weird, but it was the only way to kind of do it and not have, it was, everyone was super stressed and, but everyone just wanted to play music. So we're like, well, when we get vaccinated, then we'll take our mask off. And since we practice at my place, it was just, it was like, hey, whatever you guys are comfortable with, that's what I'm going to do. So in order for me to practice, if it meant people wearing a mask, then that's what I did.
So I need to throw this out there because you're a left-wing dude. You guys are all vaccinated, and I'm having this trouble in casting shadows right now.
I was waiting for this to go up.
Because I'm the one guy who's vaccinated. Everybody else is a whole bunch of Trump-pumping Republicans, and they're just like, yeah,
cool,
fuck
so
the
we're going to do a show together.
Wait, hold the phone. First of all,
they're doing the Trump pump.
I'm not a Trumper by any means. I have a card, but it's not that kind of card. I have my medical card.
Okay.
So Dakota, though, I honestly, this is a great segue because I was going to say, in your situation, say I waltz in, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm not getting fucking vaxxed. What would your response been?
I probably would be like, that's cool, man. Like, I just don't think this is going to work.
Hey, I can appreciate that.
I'm not in the mood to argue with anybody. I'm just like, okay, that's cool, but like, I'm not the only one who like lives in my house.
Well, right.
Other people the other person, I need them to be comfortable with people coming into my house. So, if it's all about her being comfortable, and so if that's the rule, then I'm like, all right, cool, we'll just do that.
That's 100% commendable.
So, I'd be remiss if we didn't go in the Wayback Machine because we haven't talked to you since
we're going way back.
The Wayback Machine.
He's still got the moves. So haven't talked to you on Rocks 100 yet. I'm surprised it took 120, almost 120 episodes to get you on.
I didn't have anything to talk about.
We were waiting for Dakota to get his shit together. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So we definitely have to touch on this because I've brought these two bands up a lot, throughout all these shows.
Usually in a negative light.
What not to do in bands.
Like I told Ricky the other day, I've been listening to your episodes on my prep hour, so I'm always catching big chunks. And man, yeah.
Dakota's like, fuck Ricky. This guy's talking mad shit.
He doesn't know my band name. He talks shit about the old band.
So, let's get into New Day Revolution because that was a band that I was in that band for
Why
about.
Would we get into it? I just got out of it.
I was in that band for about 2 years, and then I was the third bass player in that band, and we did the record and we did shows, and then it kind of blew people away when I announced I was quitting and that I was going to leave the band.
Rikki fashion.
And they're like, dude, everybody's like, dude, you're at home, New Day Revolution, your boys and all that, dirty whiskey, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, yeah, I quit. And I've said this during the show, the reason I quit, because I saw it going a certain direction. So I just kind of jumped off that boat before it crashed. For everybody out there, after I left the band and you guys did do shows without a bass player, what happened with New Day Revolution?
Oh, what happened? Who knows?
You gotta look at your notes.
You should know.
Dude, I only know, like, listen, I was 1/5 of that band, or I guess 1/4 at the end. We went the we decided to do the Royal Blood route, where we just have, they have a bass player, but hey, we're just gonna have a guitar player play bass, but while playing guitar. So we got a switch, we got an amp, so that both guitars could, like, one guitar could play rhythm guitar and bass at the same time. They could switch back and forth, because we had no interest.
Oh, you're doing the local H thing, huh?
Sure. Is that what they do?
Yeah, so local H is literally two guys, and their guitar player has a rig for bass and a rig for guitar, and his pedal board goes to both of them, and it plays the bass notes in sync with what he's played on guitar. It's fucking epic.
Okay. Yeah, there's a I'm actually going to see next week called Cleopatra. They're from Canada. They do the same thing. That's where we kind of got the idea from. It was for us, it was a guitar player and drummer, but yeah, same thing. The guitar player is like playing guitar and bass at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So it's like, let's not stop playing shows. Let's not go to Craigslist. So we're like, we'll just do this. It's fine. And it worked. It worked. It was nice. It was just like nothing slowed down. And then COVID hit, and then once restrictions started to get, lighter, I messaged them and just was like, hey, do you guys want to do a social distance, like, jam or something? I had seen other bands, like, posting videos of them practicing outside or, like, in the garage and stuff. So I was like, we can just do that. Like, we'll open the door, we'll stand in different quarters, whatever. But then, like, the band responded, like, we just don't like this anymore. Like, it wasn't any fights. It was just the idea of being, like, in a band where, load equipment, drive to the show, be at the bar all night, drive home.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. They were just like, no, we have no, like, personal issues with each other. They were just like, I don't like sitting in a bar watching bands, and we don't like the drive. We don't like the, the loading of the equipment. So unfortunately, like, if it was something that we had an issue with each other, we could have just cussed each other out for 10 minutes and then gotten over it.
Right.
But yeah, no, they was like, oh yeah, if you don't like the routine of it, then that's it.
It ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So what was the turnaround time, from the point where, you realized New Day Revolution was done? What was the turnaround time, between that and, okay, I am going to start a band and this is going to be a politically charged punk rock band rather than a kind of a more politically charged hard rock / metal band? What made you go the punk rock route, and what was the turnover time?
30 seconds.
I literally was about to be like, I could picture him being on the toilet, like, taking a shit, and then just being like, all right, we're done. And then he goes, I'm going to start another band. It's going to be politically charged punk rock.
Yeah, I mean, like, I knew, I was like, well, like, I need to be in my feelings for a bit and get this out. But, like, there's no, like, quitting. I can't imagine not playing. So, like, I'm just like, all right, like, I'm going to start another band, like, immediately. Like, I allowed myself to be sad for 48 hours. Like, I got to mope around because the band was around for 8 years. So, like, I did have to, like, deal with, like, losing that. But I also was thinking, like, all right, I did, like, the party rock with Dirty Whiskey. That was fun. When that was done, I was like, all right, I want to do something more modern and heavy.
You're welcome on that one.
So NDR was that. So after 8 years of doing like heavy modern rock, I'm just like, oh, I love hardcore and punk, and I've never actually played it. So that should be what I do next. And then I felt like with NDR, like it wasn't too much of a political band. Like it was me who was the political guy.
Yeah.
Just kind of was like, hey guys, this is what I'm going to start writing about. And then I just started saying things. But so this one, I was like, okay, I can start from the beginning and find people who are like on the same page where it's not just like, oh, that's what the singer's into. Like we can make it as a, you know, like a mission statement.
Well, that's kind of an interesting way to approach it. But at the same time, I see the reason and value in doing it.
Well, I mean, well, like think about like, what if Zach De La Rocha started Rage? And like he sings the things he does, and he like think of the videos they made. What if he was like, I want this to be popping up these images?
Right.
The band's not into it.
Right.
That'd be an issue. So I just knew I was like, I want the imagery to be this, and I'm gonna want the music videos to be around this idea and whatnot. So like, it's just easier to just be like, hey, are you cool with that from the beginning?
No, I agree. I mean, like, until you actually said that, I probably wouldn't have thought of it. So I'm like, in the back of my head, if I joined a band and it had like this political message that I was against, but like we had already gone through all this shit, like that would be really fucked up to just be like, well, I don't really agree with everything we're doing, you know. But that's a really good way to get it out.
In an NDR, like I just sort of like that. The first half of that like band was like all personal songs. And then like once you get into a good relationship and you get like a good career going, then you're like, well, what do I write about? So all that stuff, I'm like, well, I don't write
love songs and ballads, bro. Love songs and ballads.
Or just be like Conmouth Kings and talk about weed all day.
I don't want to be anything like that. I don't want to be a Juggalo band.
And you
they're
know,
not juggalos, but I get the sentiment.
You know, and another thing, you know,
like
that
cousins.
Oh my God, step cousins.
The thing, another cool thing, you know, that has transpired between DW, New Day, and Black Swan Dive Bomb is
Ricky has a cue. Ricky has a cue card. He had to look at.
I had to look. Is in every
he's like Black Swan.
Well, you should be able to get the Black Swan because like that's a real thing. That's a bird.
So Ricky don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about aviation, aviaries.
He missed biology and all that other shit.
I think I skipped that class. So, you know, a thing, yeah, we're talking to a teacher. So, yeah, I skipped.
Dakota's going to write you up.
I skipped high school. So
stressful.
You know, you have a Dirty Whiskey alumni in your band who used to play guitar.
Fucking alumni.
So this is a thing, you know, and
he went to Dirty Whiskey University. He mastered at the top of his class.
He was in Dirty Whiskey before I was in the band, and he played, what was it, guitar in Dirty Whiskey?
No, he was the drummer.
Oh, so he was the drummer. Okay, because I thought it was something like he was a guitar player, then he switched the drums or something like that. So
no, he was a drummer and he switched to bass. So I hit Carney up and I was like, hey man, because also while putting together this band, like, you know, when you're looking for members, you're like, who do I know who plays? Who do I know who plays? But I also now at this point I'm like, wait, who do I know who plays and what are their thoughts? What are their beliefs? So I was like, all right, Carney plays bass. And also in high school, he was the first communist I ever met. So I was like, all right. He plays bass. I'll hit him up. And he was like, nah, I don't do that, man. He's like, but you need a drummer?
I'm not communist anymore.
Thank God he still is. But I go back to drums. So I was like, okay, yeah, no, we need a drummer. So then he was like, all right, I'll be there next week. So, and then about 2 weeks later, we found Fanny on bass, but I had to do 6 months of like hate emails from, I'm assuming old guys with goatees and maybe like those softball glasses.
Oh my God. I remember Dakota messaging me though. He's like, hey man, like, I know you're doing things, but like, do you know any drummers that are free? And like, he kind of like gave me a little snippet of like what he was working on.
Yeah.
And God, he started telling me some of these fucking replies and shit from Craigslist and stuff, and I was just dying.
The only one I ever responded to, there was a guy, I can't remember his name. If I did, I wouldn't say it. But he did email me, and he was like, hey, fucking idiot, learn history, like, you dumbass. He's like, open a history book.
And you're like, I'm a history teacher.
Yeah, that was the one I was like, funny story. I actually am certified to teach it. Like, I know it pretty well. And that I'm so petty. I did after the election. I did email him again. It was like, hey, buddy, how are you doing? Like, I thought about you. Are you hanging in there?
Oh, my God. Killing him with kindness.
It was just like, just hope you're doing well, man. And just no response. So I don't know. Maybe he's still around. Maybe I don't know. I feel like I know where he was January 6th, but that's
insurrection.
So, how hard is, because we kind of glossed over, it's hard enough to find a guy, or a band, starting a band from the beginning. I gave it a shot for a little bit, and I said, fuck this noise. I'm going to go back to joining bands.
The Rikki ROXX Star.
Yeah, I said, fuck this putting bands together. It's hard enough finding guys that want to play the same kind of music as you, that you can get along with, but you threw that extra thing in there where it's like, yo, you got to be
punishment.
I
like the pain.
You got to be left wing as fuck. The more left wing, the better.
So did you have a checklist? Like, who are your idols? Mussolini, and I'm saying that shit jokingly, but did you actually have some sort of checklist, to be like, okay, are they on my side or are they fucking traitors?
No, the bands I listed in terms of who I'm influenced by in this genre and who I would like to sound like, they were all political bands anyway. One of the big ones was Refused, a Swedish hardcore band.
I love Refused.
Yeah, so they're probably the biggest influence in terms of punk and hardcore for me. So I put them. Who else? Snapcase, Gallows. I can't. A bunch of others, but all those bands. If you're a fan of them, they write some left wing stuff. So I would assume if you knew them and and really liked that type of stuff, you would have an idea of what they were about. So if you're into that, you probably are into, the stuff I'm into.
And then another interesting.
And I would be that's when I would if I met someone, there was a couple people I jammed with before I met Woody. And yeah, then in person, I would be like, hey, real quick, just so you know, this is what I write about. And I don't know what I'm going to say on stage, but when the adrenaline is going, I happen to blurt things out. And
fuck autism.
They're like, is he going to take off his shirt and have swastika tattoos all over him?
Oh my God. Oh. That would be so bad.
I'm just kidding, Dakota. I'm just fucking with you.
But he was just now I got swastika tattoos pictured in my head.
Got American History X just going through your head right now.
I bet you there's some guys on Craigslist with those tattoos.
Oh, I believe it. So
they're on the misconnections.
Oh my God.
A couple people like, hey, gonna talk about this. How do you feel? But everyone who I jammed with in person, by that time, they just from the emails, they're like, yeah, no, I get it.
So, going into this, knowing, me knowing a couple of the songs, titles of the songs that you have on there, it's polarizing stuff. They have a song called God Hates America, so it's,
yeah, we do.
Don't play any shows in the Bible Belt.
It's,
that's our next show.
It's a polarizing, it's a polarizing thing. Just listening to some of these these two tracks I got, you can tell where you stand as far as your political beliefs and all this. What made you want to go that way? Because you're going to be, you know, and I've had this conversation with you, you're going to be alienating a good chunk of the populace if they actually start paying attention to the lyrics and what you're singing about, you know,
especially all the big hitters that make tons of money. No one listens to that shit.
You know, starting a new band, you know, what made you want to go down that route and take that hard left stance rather than going to and writing songs that, you know, might be a little bit more palatable to a wider listener base, you know, going back and doing like, you know, a new party like a rock star or Rock Tonight or stuff like that. You know, what made you want to go that route rather than making something that, you know, that's not as polarizing and, you know, one far side of the political spectrum? Because, you know, right now everybody's ultra politically charged with where they are on the spectrum of left and right and moderates and all this. What made you want to go that route and put yourself in that polarizing situation?
Well, again, I like the punishment. I like the pain.
So it's like a BDSM kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, like it's just what I like care. I've said it before, like I have a good relationship. I've been with the same woman for years and I'm madly in love. So like there's not gonna be breakup songs. I'm not 16. I'm not gonna write songs about being angry at my parents. I love my job. I love being a teacher. So like I can't write songs about like, you know, fuck the 9 to 5 type job. Like I love going to work every day. But like, so I can only write like what gets me worked up. And and also I'm a social studies teacher. I literally talk about politics Monday through Friday. And obviously politics of the past, but that's what I talk about all day, every day. And I also am an inner city teacher. So I see the surrounding area and like the effects of what politicians do and how it affects the school system. So like that gets me worked up. And so I can only just write what gets me worked up. But then in the sense of like, oh, well, you're going to alienate people. I'm 35. Like the dream of making it is done. Like I think I'm old man age where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to write what I want to write. And also like the bands that I like who do that, like, yeah, they're not like these mainstream artists.
Hey, Refused got played on MTV. Just saying.
Who?
Refused.
Probably like once at like midnight.
No, dude, they actually got played quite a bit. But go on.
Exciting.
Oh yeah, that's how I found out about them. I was like, these guys kick ass. I was like fucking 12.
That's crazy that they got played for a minute on MTV. But like those bands like do alienate crowds,
right?
But they to their guns, and so it's like the people who like them love them, and so like that's just I'm like, oh well, I want to be a band like that.
So you know, you'd rather have that kind of like Die Hard, you know, where they're really into your message, really into what you're saying, rather than kind of like the passive fan that's like, okay, well, it's digestible. It's, you know,
he's not going the 5-finger death punch route. He's going the very niche.
I would literally never go that route. That guy doesn't even know if he wants to wear shorts or pants.
No, but like you're going a route that's like a lot more niche in the sense that like you're having it so dialed in now. And I said this just a little bit earlier because like some of the bullshit you see on the radio and TV, I feel like their fans are mentally handicapped because of the shit they're listening to. But like you're going to an area, and I love the fact that you're taking it from a standpoint of I'm a teacher, I work in an inner city, and I see what these motherfuckers do to their livelihood and like the whole culture and everything. You're doing it in a very, very genuine way. And to me, that's a lot more genuine. And I feel like even if somebody were to not necessarily agree with your beliefs, like if they knew Dakota like how we do and what you do for a job, like that kind of all encapsulates why you're doing what you're doing. And for me, that's authentic as fuck. Like I personally think that's great. Even if I was anti like every belief you had, I would still be like, well, dude, this guy is literally pouring everything into it. And like you said, if you were going to try and make it, you would have made it by now. Now you're just doing it for fun. So that's almost like a double fuck you to everybody else. And I'm all for it.
there's nothing holding me back. I will say, like, there have been times in the past where you write and there's certain things I wanted to say and you're like, I should change. Like, I'll try to get that message across, but I'll hide it a little bit more.
Or be subtle.
Censor yourself. And it's just now I'm a grouchy old man. So I'm just like, nah, this is it. Like, I'm making exactly what I want.
Get off my lawn.
On this to pay my bills.
So,
100% just like, this is what I like. If you like it, cool. If not, that's all good too. Like, move along.
You paid to get in. I'm still getting your damn money.
We're going to see Dakota playing like the fucking Crowfoot, and he's going to be like, oh, fuck you, motherfuckers. I already got your money.
Like, I still like hooks, and I'd like to think that, like, not that we're trying to, get signed or anything, but, like, I still just like catchy songs. And even though we have these, like, hard messages, like, Back for More, I think is... I'm pretty proud of like that chorus. I think we wrote a pretty sing-along catchy chorus. And also I know we had a song called God Hates America. And I wrote it specifically. I was like, what a great title. Like, it gets your attention.
Right.
I think when people hear the words, they'll understand more. Like, it's not, I don't know. Like, for me, I wrote it specifically thinking about like hypocrites. Like, whoa, like, as I was raised Christian, but I don't consider myself Christian anymore. But I did go to Catholic school my whole life. I read the Bible from start to front. And like, so I see things that like Christians do. I'm like, hey, just so you know, like, your boy Jesus would not like what you just said or did. So it's just calling out those people like, hey, you're completely not Christian. Like, you can use that label all you want, but you have to treat people with kindness. And you're not doing that.
And I said that earlier. I said you're literally killing people with kindness. And I think that speaks to the authenticity and genuine aspect of it. And me personally, like, I like that. Even if it's like something I don't even agree with, but like the artist or the band is doing it in a fashion that it shows that they just are truly that behind it. And then, taking into account like experiences and lifestyles and all that, like, I appreciate that. It's a lot different when it's like obviously fake and they're just doing it for fucking clicks and money and shit. Now, with that being said, I know before with like New Day and stuff, like, you had hit me up to try and get out of state and stuff like that. And I know you had said, you're not planning on getting signed or anticipating it. Like, are you still going to go like a little more balls out for like the Weekend Warrior stuff? Maybe try and do a tour?
Oh, for sure. We're going to try to go harder than NDR did. Like, that was another thing. Like, even though, like, I'm like, all right, I got this job, this career that I love. And if I do this for the next 25 years, I'm completely happy. But also the benefits of being a teacher, like, I got plenty of vacation time. So I could do a lot of touring. And I love the road trips. I love the out-of-town shows. So when I put together this group, like, I was like, that was the thing. I was like, I want to play a lot. I don't want to get a call from a band member saying I don't like playing shows. I was like, let's make sure you like playing shows, right? So everyone
that was a thing.
Yeah, you're like, hey, you shouldn't have to ask, musicians if they like playing shows, but apparently you do.
Dude, trust me, when you're like 60 shows deep into the year and then they go, oh, I didn't think we were going to be playing this much. It's like, motherfucker, I told you what the expectations were.
So Woody, our guitar player, he's actually done numerous tours. So, and then Fanny, the bass player, she's done a couple small tours too. So if anything, I have less experience than them.
Okay.
And so they love touring. And I'm like, well, I know I like the weekend thing. So we're kind of like playing it by ear. And like, obviously we have not played one show yet. So we're like, well, we should get that out of the way first.
Right.
One fully is like, no, we want to do some at least long weekend runs and then maybe build up from there.
So you need to talk about the new album that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks here. Huge thing. Tell me about the production of this album, because and picking out the songs. So you have a 4-song EP you're coming out with, and you have Back for More, you have Prove to Me, you have God Hates America, and then
that one's for the kids.
So talk about picking the songs. So I'm assuming you probably have half a dozen, 10 songs ready to go, and go into picking the songs that you guys were like, yo, these are the songs that we're gonna record. Were you going for maximum shock value, or were you going for what song's the catchiest, which one's gonna piss people off? What were you gunning for when you're picking the songs for the new album?
Well, going into making that 4-song EP, we had 5 songs written, and so we pretty much picked those 4. We had another song at the time. It was actually the first song we ever wrote. Woody and I, and here we are saying we're going to be a punk and hardcore band, and we wrote like a 6-minute Black Sabbath song. That was our first song. We were like, are we a punk band? Like, we say we're going to do that, and we just wrote that. But it really was those 4 songs. Like I said, we only had 5 at the time.
Okay.
So it wasn't like, oh, we got so much material, but we really did. We wouldn't write a song completely through if we didn't dig it. So by the time we were done with those 5 songs, we felt very confident in them. And part of it was a matter of time. We were hoping to maybe get that 5th song, but we recorded it all live at what was it called? 1887 Media in Jackson. So we just knocked it out live like a punk band, and those 4 songs we knocked out relatively quick. And we just didn't have time for the 5th song. But we felt like those 4 songs, if you hear Back for More and then our track Cobra, those kind of are like our Stooges influence, like 70s rock punk. And then God Hates America and Prove to Me is more like that AFI meets Refuse, like modern, like hardcore. So we were just like, these are good for, like, they're catchy, they're in your face, they're up tempo, and there's a little bit of variety between the 4 of them. So we were like, all right, that's the EP.
So you have the album, it's done, you have it in your hands, you got the big CD release, which is going on October 30th at the new Dodge Lounge with Dead and Five, Half-Life, and Fly Parade, sponsored by Lucky Monkey Tattoo and Rocks100.com. I'm gonna be hosting that one as Count Ricky Rockula or some dumb shit like that. It's fucking stupid.
Excited.
Yeah, it's fucking dumb. Dana's like, Ricky, you gotta dress up. There's a Halloween costume thing going on. You gotta dress up. I'm like, that's what I do every fucking show.
Politically charged, be like Count Trumpocula and dress up like Trump.
I should have shut up. Shut up as Donald Trump. I am Count Trumpula. So putting this show together, why did you pick, the new Dodge? Why? Where did you arrive on the bands? Explain this whole thing for this show and how you put this thing together.
I picked the new Dodge because you booked for it, and
there it is.
It was me. So the new Dodge, I just haven't played in forever, and you booked there, and so I knew you would be cool and help me out, get us a good first show because we didn't have the EP yet. So it's really, I forgot how hard it is to like hit up people when you're like, hey, I have this picture of a bird. This is my band, but there's no music yet. Like, can we play a show?
And we won $1,000. No, I'm just
kidding. And we feel Hamtramck is the right area for our type of music. Let's wait to anger people, till the 2nd or 3rd show.
Okay, so how'd you arrive on like Dead and Five, Half-Life, Fly? I've never even heard of Fly Parade. Give some background on these bands.
And Ricky's a whore when it comes to music.
I know.
So that's a shock.
I felt horrible that I didn't know who Fly Parade was.
So Dana helped me a lot with this show because I started hitting up. I had a list of probably like 10 bands. I'm like, these bands all would be great. And Dead and Five was one. And we've played shows with Dead and Five in previous bands. So, and they draw well and they sound great and they're great people. So I hit them up and they were cool. And Dana was like, oh, I'm actually trying to work on a Halloween show with Half-Life. So why don't we just all make it our own show? Like, let's just all 3 of us do it. So then it was, oh, cool. Half-Life doesn't sound like you guys. They don't sound like us. So we got variety. We got bands that draw. I think everyone's going to fit in for Halloween. So we just started asking around, and then Dana was like, "Oh, I know Fly Parade too." And so like, and it just worked out that way. Dana really just like was like, "Oh, what about these? I know these guys, they're free, and these guys are free." And like, okay, cool.
Lord Dana, everybody.
No, I like the fact though that you also went the route of let's try and have variety. I mean, like, I'm a metal guy, but like, dude, sometimes when you go and see a show and it's literally like 6 bands that are all trying to sound like the headlining band, it doesn't really do a lot for me. Like, I would much rather go to a show, even though I'm a metal guy, and see some fucking variety.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, the theme is like, hey, we're all gonna rock, so you're gonna have loud guitar the whole night, but it's gonna be different. Like, Fly Parade's got kind of like a grungy indie rock sound. Half-Life's this cool like industrial thing. Dead and Five's got that muscle car rock, and then we're the Stooges commie rock.
We're gonna question your political beliefs,
but you're gonna dance while we do it.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't start throwing some hard questions at you, because known you for a long time. You know, one of the groomsmen at my wedding. You know, one of my best friends.
Question: when's the next guys' night out?
Well, I know you don't party anymore, so I don't know if you can keep up with Rikki ROXX anymore.
Hey, I got my flavored water. I'm ready to go.
Oh, is Dakota like straight edge? You went full on?
I don't know about no.
I don't.
He drinks hipster beer now.
Shit faced anymore.
Yeah, he drinks hipster beer now. So
I don't even drink beer because it bloats me, and then my skinny jeans just get too tight if I'm bloated.
Okay.
I mean, that's fair. I can't fault you.
And this was the guy back in the day. Back in the day, we were the Booze Brothers. We would always be shit faced, and now I'm the one guy carrying the torch.
I'm 35, man. It's hard in the morning.
I'm 37, and I'm pushing 240 these days.
I think we should isolate that it's hard in the morning, because that could be taken in a couple different contexts.
So
there's been some classes I come in, I'm like, all right, kids, we're going to show a movie. We're going to turn the lights out. I'm going to give you extra credit if you're quiet. And I'm like, just got a headache. And they're all like, he's hungover. I'm like, no, I'm not. Let's not go yelling that out down the hall. Like, everyone, let's play the quiet game today.
So need to throw this at you. Okay. So looking back, Dirty Whiskey was a band for a long time before I was even the band. So we're looking at 15-ish years of you being a frontman in a band, 15-ish. And so looking back on everything you've done, give me the best show you've ever played, the worst show you've ever played.
There's so many bad ones.
I know. You're welcome.
So best show, I gotta say, I don't know if it was the best show. I think about our last show at Lollapalooza in Battle Creek. That was really good. The crowd was good. We played for like an hour. We had them the whole time. And probably because that's one of the most recent, I'll say that. I think about that, or like the EP release party for the American Dream is Dead from NDR. Those two shows would probably, if I thought about it, those would be the two best shows.
Okay, so on contrast, I was hoping you were going to say the Dirty Whiskey CD release party, which was fucking huge at the Token, but
it was good. I wasn't as good as I got. Like, I got better myself later on. So
worst show that you've ever done.
Please don't say the Akron show.
The what show?
The Akron show that I got.
No. We actually did get that one.
We did good on that.
We did good.
So there's two that pop in my head. One's Dirty Whiskey, one's NDR. So I remember playing the Hayloft.
Here it is. This is what I was thinking. I know this one.
Ricky had that teed up perfectly.
I was just telling the story last night.
So it was a benefit for autism.
Yeah.
It was
I know the story. This is brutal.
They didn't tell us what time we were playing, and it was like from 1 to 1. So we're like, well, what if we play first? We better get there on time. And we get there and oh, you're playing at 1 a.m. And so we're like, well, we're not going to drive all the way home and then drive all the way back, because it was over an hour or so for me. So we just stayed and drank the whole night.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time we went on, I remember like I had to crawl up the stage. I couldn't stand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was seeing 3 of everything.
Is there a video of this show?
I wish.
It was being streamed live.
Oh,
so it's probably somewhere in the night
I
regions.
gotta find this.
And I tried to show my support for the charity, and in my drunkenness, just crawl up to the stage and climb the mic stand, and I just in a slur, I'm like, "Fuck autism." And then we started playing, and it looked like a packed crowd to me because I was like seeing 3 or 4 of everybody.
Yeah, so those 4 people that were still there looked like half a dozen, almost 20 people.
That was probably not a good show. And then I think about our show at, what was it? That in Mexican Town.
Oh, with New Day?
Yeah.
When we played
Rubo Fest.
Yeah, Rubo Fest.
So we were supposed to like close, and they were running behind. Like there was a couple hundred people there. And we're all like, oh my God, this is gonna be sick. Can't wait to play. And then they were running behind schedule.
Like 2 hours behind schedule.
Yeah, 2 hours. So by the time we went on, it went from like we're playing again, and like now it's like midnight, and like everyone had like left. And so it was pretty too many, probably 10 people left out of when there was originally like probably 300 or 400.
Yeah.
But there was the crazy woman who was like looking for her phone or something. She was on something. But I remember she came up looking for her phone while we were playing, and she tried to unplug the monitors. So I kicked at her to like get out of here.
There is video of this.
Oh shit!
And I
get out of here, peasant!
Kick. And then I'm screaming at her from the stage, and she's screaming at me, and we're still playing. And then she leaves. And then we started the next song, and I look up and I see headlights coming at us, and she's gunning her truck at us and slams on her brakes and slides. She got like, what do you think, Ricky? Like 2 or 3 feet from the stage.
Pretty close, yeah. It was just because one guy was standing in front of the car, so that's why she didn't smash the stage.
Wow.
And I remember in my anger, I was so angry at us going on so late. I was angry at the fact that we went from playing in front of hundreds to maybe a dozen people, that I just stayed on the stage screaming as the truck came at me. And I see other people diving out of the way, and I'm just screaming the words and just thinking like, whatever, this night can't get any worse. Just me.
And is that how the name Black Swan Dive Bomb?
Oh, now Kevin's fucked it up. Black Swan Dive Bomb, bro. Black Swan Dive Bomb.
Oh, that was a bad show. And we almost got hit by a truck.
Yeah, fun times. There is video of that on YouTube. So we're at 9:00. So coming up, your first show with Black Swan Dive Bomb. I'm going to throw the flyer up there. October 30th, New Dodge Lounge in Hamtramck. Black Swan Dive Bomb. You're going to be releasing the new album. What's the name of the album?
Light the Match in. Oh shit!
Wow, yeah. You can't even remember your own shit.
Light the match, ignite the flame.
Okay, so you're gonna be releasing.
We don't like short names. We don't like short titles.
Yeah, you like fucking everybody up. So Black Swan Dive Bomb first show.
That is punk rock.
Den 5 Half-Life Fly Parade. For people that are gonna be, of course, seeing you guys for the first time. What can people expect from the show? Because I'm sure anybody who's listening to this has seen you perform, with New Day or DW or whatever. What can we expect from the band as a whole, on this first show?
You can expect a lot of energy. Woody moves around like crazy at practice. And I'm like, oh, if you're jumping around this much here, because at practice, I don't move. I just kind of stand there and tap my toe.
Right.
So I'm like, well, I know I'm gonna go nuts on stage. So I'm like, if he's going nuts now, I can't, he's gonna be insane on stage. And Fanny's quite energetic and stuff. So you can expect a very high energy show. We are not going to be standing still.
All right. So after this show, the CD is going to be out. You have a new music video that's coming out when?
It's coming out Friday. I thought it was coming out this week. We are working with a PR company called Type A Promo. That was my fault. I had started advertising that it was going to come out this previous Friday we just had. And so we have a list, like they're helping us out, record out to magazines and reviews and stuff like that.
Look at you being all professional and stuff.
I know. Where the fuck was this over the last decade? Where's this?
I don't care about making it at all. But
right?
I read. I turns out I don't know how to read. I've been faking it for 35 years.
Says the teacher.
I just look at a screen. I go, this is what it says. But so I read the date wrong. The video is coming out this Friday for Back for More. The EP is actually coming out October 26th. We're releasing it streaming that Tuesday before the show. So that way everyone can listen to it for a few days. And then the physical copy will be out that day at the CD release, the 30th.
Okay, so after this show...
Give people time to get politically charged before they're...
Yeah, get all those haters some ammo. Be like, oh, God, these guys, I'm going to wear my Trump mask. I'm going to come out and just razzle these guys while they're playing. So after this show...
They're paying to get in, though, right?
They're paying... Of course they're paying to get in. It's my show.
It's a Halloween party. Wear whatever you want.
Ricky got to get paid. So after this show, what's the plan going forward? Do you have any other shows lined up, or are you just kind of holding tight right now?
We haven't lined anything up yet because planning this show has taken pretty much all of our time. It's I've never done this, like a debut show and a CD release being at like the same day.
Yeah.
So it's keeping us extra busy. Plus we're kind of seeing how this goes because you hopefully, like, if it goes well and a lot of people come out, then you can jump on, hopefully get another like high profile show and just kind of ride that success.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the music video coming out on Friday for Back for More. For people out there who might be listening to this tomorrow or whenever, what's the premise of this video? Because if they're following the band, they've seen the screenshots. You got the chain gang thing going on. You have another Dirty Whiskey alumni in the
video.
You have another Dirty Whiskey alumni, Mike Allen, playing the copper and all that. So what's the premise of the video?
Picture if Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was a punk rock band and not a bluegrass band. That's pretty much where we went with that.
I have no idea.
For those of us that have no idea where Oh Brother, Where Art Thou is.
The George Clooney movie?
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that really drunk though.
Okay. Well, it was a movie. And
no, I know that.
They escape and they become these big bluegrass artists, but it's like a I guess it wasn't modern, but it was like a take on the Odyssey. Like the Coen brothers tweaked the story and put it into Prohibition times. No, it wasn't Prohibition. Early 1900 times, but they basically retold the Odyssey. So then we were like, well, what if we did that movie but made it punk rock?
So you're the punk rock Odyssey.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
All right, and we did have a question in the chat from Lisa Rosalino. This goes into your teaching. You are a history social studies teacher. You're a teacher. I didn't pay too much attention.
But he's also doing it in the inner city,
Detroit,
as a white male that's been in like metal. So like you're literally
pretty much the whitest motherfucker I know.
Well, like that's got to be difficult because like culturally, like everything under the sun, you're like the total opposite. Like there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of like other bullshit that goes into it. Like that's got to be fucking difficult.
Well, Lisa wants to know, what grades do you teach?
I teach, so I'm world history, so it's mainly 11th graders and then like a handful of some seniors. So mostly like 16, 17-year-olds.
Okay, so, for people, like me who never really grew up in that, kind of thing, and you coming from, not the inner city, because I've been to your parents' house millions of times. And, going in, I know this isn't music related, but have to go into this because this kind of feeds into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Going from a guy who, grew up on the west side of the state, was like Muskegon or something like that, and then he moved over to Romulus.
He's going from skiing to fucking
And then getting your first teaching job in DPS, what was like, was it a shock to you when you first started teaching there? You're like, oh shit, I didn't know it was like this. Explain, for people out there, people like me who never grew up in that situation, and Kevin, Mr. Rochester Hills, big money, fuck you money kind of shit. I
already touched on this a little bit, but
what's the real deal down there?
I mean, it definitely was like, I knew it was inner city, but I remember at my job interview, they were like, oh no, you've never seen poverty like this. I'm like, oh no, I've been around poverty. They're like, no, not like this.
Go to a show at Simon's.
Dude, Simon's looks like
I'm kidding.
Trump Palace. I remember NDR shot a video there. I convinced my boss. So I told this is just a fun little thing. I told every class, I was like, if you can convince my boss to let us shoot a video here, I'll give everyone an A on a test. So I had 6 classes every day, bothered my principal.
Look at that bargaining right there.
Let him shoot a video, and he finally agreed to it. But I remember the members then were like, this looks like a building that used to be a school and now it's abandoned. And you're like, yep, that's what it looks like. But there's hundreds of people in here every day.
And that was the scrapped demon video, wasn't it?
Yeah. It never came out, and I could not really give you a reason why. So the guy never sent the video. So,
and that's when I came in and wrote the script for the demon video. So,
there you go. But to answer the real question, it's a complete shock. My first year, I had no printer, no technology, and I had 6 history books for 35 kids, and the covers were ripped off, and it's ceiling tiles fall, rooms have tons of.
And this is like what, 2019?
This is my 6th year.
So 2015,
yeah, but
2016, something like that.
Dude, to not have like the bare minimum,
$6 for 30
terrible.
kids.
That's terrible.
6 books, covers are ripped off. No printer in my room. We didn't have a teacher's lounge with a printer for teachers. So I would have to email my mom at the time. It was like, hey, can you print like 100 of these? And on my way home from work, I'll stop by and pick them up.
Damn.
Wow.
Like,
so has it
tiles falling off?
In in this last half decade that you've been down there, has it improved? Because everybody, politicians, since we're political band, has the situation improved? Because, here in Michigan, the thing is, or United States as a whole, boosting that lower wage, boosting people out of poverty, improving the education system for underprivileged kids. Have you seen any of that kind of come to fruition in the last half decade of being in DPS?
I can say like our scores they don't move up a lot, but at least I'm very proud to say like their social studies scores every year, the last couple of years, they have been moving up a little bit each time. So that makes me feel good. In terms of the neighborhood, no, but it wasn't until this year people are, refusing to go back to work until you raise minimum wage. So hopefully, you see jobs that are actually paying better, and then maybe the neighborhood can improve. But, that wasn't happening until just a few months ago, or maybe a year at the most.
So you have seen some improvements in the lower income bracket of where we are. Maybe not huge, but some steady improvements.
No, I would say it's going to take a couple of years to see if this raise in income, this raise in minimum wage helps. I think look in 3 years, but it's going to have to take some good paying jobs, because we've had this talk over beer and stuff before, like crime and stuff, and drugs and all that, when you get rid of poverty, then you get rid of all these other issues.
Yeah.
People do this stuff if they had a good job.
Right. People ain't gonna be slinging crack if they're making a decent job decent pay at their job.
Right.
Yeah. So unfortunately, you know, the road I work on, like it's all
Joy Road,
dollar store. It's just all dollar stores.
Yeah.
So you have to put like something in the neighborhood. Like you have to supply jobs to the neighborhood, give people good paying jobs. And then you will see an improvement.
So, you know, given your time doing the teaching and everything, and you being kind of like the outsider because like you're an adult, you're in a different environment, different culture, do you kind of see like you're actually making an impact? Is that kind of like one of the things that like drives you to like enjoy the job, or do you just like...
Yeah, you unfortunately can't look at it as, and sadly, like you can't look at like a whole class of like 25 students and be like, I helped all of them.
Right, of course.
We don't have the resources. But yeah, like I'm very happy I just had 4 students come visit me a week or so ago that graduated last year, and I happened to teach them for 4 years straight. And I was really excited to see them, and they are all at Central together.
Fire up chips.
Oh, Jesus.
Hell yeah, baby.
Party town.
One's majoring in, she's taking political science after taking my classes, so that makes me happy. One's majoring in business, one's in theater, and they're all killing it. So you do see it's very rewarding to see, you know, every year you get a couple students and they get some full ride scholarships to college.
Dude, that's got to be awesome.
A little bit. Yeah.
So
hopefully one day you can see like big success stories, but right now, like as a teacher, you got to take the little victories.
Well, I mean, like even when I went to Rochester, sorry to interrupt you, Ricky, like we had some shit fucking teachers, but like the fact that you're doing what you're doing and the environment that you're in, and the fact that you love your job, that speaks a lot of volume right there. And, you know, I would say like if anyone's never met you, just based off of you doing that, like that should put you in the upper echelon of like awesome fucking people. And kudos to you, man. That's really awesome work you're doing.
Thank you. That means a lot, man. I didn't like school either. And I liked history outside of school, but my history classes were boring. And when I learned about history in school, I was like, this stuff is great. It's all drama and corruption and backstabbing. Like, why aren't they talking about this? And so I just try to be the type of teacher, like you start a band, you're like, this is the type of band I want to hear. So I take that same mentality and like, what type of class would I want to be in? So like, we just are finishing the Protestant Reformation. Like if I tell you like, oh, we're going to talk about a German monk named Martin Luther, like that doesn't sound exciting, but we spent the week teaching about how the church told everyone they were going to go to hell unless they bought indulgences, and they're like gift certificates. And so I'm getting the kids worked up at the idea that the church would read the Bible and tell them the wrong things because other people couldn't read the Bible. And the idea that like, if you buy this piece of paper, your mom who's burning in hell will not be in hell anymore. And they're like, that's the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, yeah. So you get them worked up on like the lies and the corruption and stuff.
So my question, you know, is if you had the chance, you know, if you could make a living being the singer of a band or influencing the youth of America as a social studies teacher in DPS.
Like a bad person.
Well, no, it's, you know, it's because we've gotten through this interview, you know, and we've, you know, learned that you love what you do as a teacher and as a performer, and being able to put your views on politics and all this, you know, into music. If you had the option, you know, somebody comes up to you, hey, you know, what was that band? The Refused comes up to you. Hey, dude, we love your band and we love the message. We want to go out on a 3-year tour and have you guys as direct support.
Keep going.
You know, like a long, we want you guys, you know, take you guys under our belt.
Summer vacation's not enough.
Yeah, no, right. Summer vacation's not enough. You know, we're planning on doing a big tour, worldwide tour. We want you guys with us the entire way. What do you do?
I'm going to tell my students, hey guys, remember your lessons are uploaded on Teams. I'll teach you for the next 3 years, and I'm going to teach you virtually, and then I'm going to go play with the Refused.
I figured Dakota was gonna be like, I'm gonna find a way to clone myself.
Sign these permission slips, and then the students will become the road crew, so I can teach them while we all travel, and then they get to see Europe and stuff.
And the real world.
Hey, refuse. Come speak to them.
All right. So last thing before we let you go, because Kevin's probably like, I got to go to work in the morning. Me, I'm going to be drinking down here because I don't have a job. Thank you, Korea, for your fucked up batteries. So talk to everybody because we're going to play.
What do you get for not buying American?
No, you buy GM, but they get their damn batteries from Korea and they catch on fire. So talk to everybody out there about the song Prove to Me. It's the second single off the EP. Tell us about that one.
It's about Ted Cruz being a little bitch.
I love how apropos and quick to the point you are.
All right, now, so let's get to the real thing, The
nuts and bolts?
Ted Cruz, okay, so
Wait, okay, I really did write it, like, it's a general, I wrote it a little broader, about like the idea of someone kind of being a kiss ass and you have to prove your loyalty to someone you should be loyal to. But I specifically I kept thinking about Ted Cruz, like how Trump like tore his wife apart and he just went with it. And you're just like, as a man, like, God, like no respect for you as a man. Like you just went, okay, well, I'm going to be on your cabinet or I'm going to be your supporter and I'm not going to say anything. So to me, it was just this idea, like you're showing loyalty to someone you shouldn't be loyal to, and you're a weak person.
Okay, so that's what that song's about. And one more question, since we're on the political thing, and I need clickbait. What are your thoughts?
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Joe Manchin, give me your opinion on him.
Who?
Joe Manchin. Democrat, moderate, who pretty much holds up the Democratic cause because he wants bipartisanship, but he's pretty much tearing the left wing and the right wing down.
Fuck him. He does nothing for me. He's not, I don't even like the Democrats, so I can't be, they're not radical enough for me.
Well, the reason I ask, because he's the kind of politician that, wants that bipartisanship. He runs as a Democrat, so he wins the seat as a Democrat, but he doesn't want the left wing to pass the completely partisan bills and all this stuff. The left wing cause, your whatever that politician is from New York, that hot one.
AOC.
AOC,
the hot one.
That hot politician. Pretty much
now we'll know who will win Rikki over.
If she runs
throw
for
a big set of tits and a migrant fucking label on her, boom, Rikki is all over it.
Throwing that Hispanic heritage in her banging body.
Ricky's just waiting for her to say, "Oh, I love you, puppy."
Okay, Kevin. that's why I asked, because
here's your clickbait. Like, it doesn't matter, Republican or Democrat, doesn't matter what he labels himself as. Until there's a strong middle class, you're only as strong as your middle class. So until you take care of the working class, the middle class, until you really support unions, we're just not going to be as strong as people want us to be. And if you want America to be strong, you need to educate them. So you need to push universal education. You want your citizens to be healthy. So you should probably, push for universal health care. So your citizens don't have to file bankruptcy when they go to the doctor.
Two-party system don't work.
All right, 2024.
Strong middle class.
This is my last question, then I'll let it go. 2024. It's pretty much known that Joe Biden will probably not run again because he's going to be in his mid-80s at that point.
He's fucking dead.
And Harris is going to presumably take that spot. And rumor has it that Trump is going to run again. In your ideal world, 2024, and let's preface this, that Bernie Sanders, who I know you're a huge fan of, will be, of course, in his mid-80s as well and probably not run. Who is your pick? If you could have your idealized America, who would be the next president of the United States?
Richard Rockman.
Rikki ROXX.
Oh, God.
Free Jack for all.
No, in my idea of America, there wouldn't we would have to rewrite some things and redo some things probably, and there wouldn't maybe not.
But under this system, where you're going to have to
under this system,
Nick Lidstrom easily, the perfect human,
the Swede.
Yeah, in a perfect system, I don't know. Maybe I would just move. I
That's
don't know.
telling right there. That's telling. But I can't fault you.
So Black Swan dive bomb, you need to get big over in like Switzerland or some shit like that.
Canada,
Relocate.
We're hanging out with the Refuse. I'm teaching class during the day.
He's just taking this fucking shit to the max. I can't fault you. I would too.
Yeah, well, I don't know politicians. I mean, yeah, I don't like the two-party system. Like I said, I just believe in supporting the working class. And I don't see politicians. Some say they do, they don't. Others don't even pretend that they do.
Rich people don't understand poor people problems. That's basically the gist of it.
They don't. And
you should stop eating avocado toast. It's
says
like,
that
okay,
from Rochester.
Dude, no, fuck
1%er.
That. No. It's like, dude, mega yachts, fucking, you pay like the same amount of taxes as people that make $90 million less than you. Get the fuck out of here.
It's
Bullshit.
It's when I look on Joy Road, I get offended when I look on Joy Road and see what I see, and then I see a guy with so much money he can build a dick spaceship and go to space for 3 seconds just so he can feel cool.
I love you, Richard Branson.
And you know what? Like, I don't, like, honestly, if you've made that money, like, I can't really fault you for doing it, but the way they treat their workers is what I have a problem with. It's like, okay.
They wouldn't make the money they made if they hadn't treated, like, to be that rich, you have to abuse the people. You can't get there without abusing them.
Well, and not only that, it's like the loopholes with like taxes and shit too. And like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, they don't have that much money. They have stock options and shit. And I'm like, okay, that's one part of it.
Spaceship.
Well, right. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, like, it would be different if they approached it from the standpoint of, hey, like, I just want you guys to know I'm developing this for a reason to, like, benefit humanity, not to just take William Shatner at 90 years old so he can say he went to space.
Yeah.
And on top of that, not to be like, I just wanted to be the first one. It's like a dick swinging contest at that point. But, I mean...
Well, it's literally it's like a dick launching contest.
Yeah, that's more apropos. But yeah, man, fucking Dakota, it was great talking to you again.
Raz, you're gonna be at the show, right?
Well, obviously.
Let's see if Raz actually shows up to
Dude,
a
it's Hamtramck. I got to get those tacos, bro.
That's a good point.
I missed you guys. It's been too long.
It has been.
It has been, for sure.
All right.
I'm excited to party with you guys. And if Raz can never be there, I want to throw my name in the hat. I want to be a guest host here. What was the nuts and bolts tonight?
This would actually suit you guys well. Not because, like, you haven't played out of state, but it is, like, kind of along the lines of all that shit.
It was pretty much a question from a guy from Ohio who wanted to know how to go about booking shows out of state for the first time with his new band and how to approach venues and shit.
What did you guys say?
Some shit I would normally charge for, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, a lot of it's pretty basic, logical stuff, but there are a little few things that I threw in there that, you know, your average person probably wouldn't think of, so.
You taught me how to do that. Send an email from, not like your band email, like your own, like for me having a different name, use my real name so they don't realize it's just the singer, like emailing them.
Yeah, that was one of the things I said. Don't take this with a grain of salt. But yeah.
Okay, so I was looking for a music video to play. I couldn't find it. So is there anything that we haven't gotten to during this interview that you want to get out there to the people before we play Prove to Me and get you off the line and ready to go to school in the morning?
I'm showing a movie tomorrow, so we're all good. Just, you know, the record, Light the Match, Ignite the Flame, drops everywhere. It streams everywhere. October 26th. The CD release is October 30th. It's hosted by, you know, good old ROXX 100 and Lucky Monkey Teddy. We got costume contest. If you're looking for some new ink, we're giving away some tattoo gift certificates.
Tattoo gift certificates, Kevin Razlog.
Oh shit!
You got to show up now. He's the ink slang. He's the ink guy.
I haven't played a show in like 2 years, so if anyone's ever seen me in any of the other bands, like like I'm gonna throw down hard, and I've been doing a lot of treadmill running and weightlifting because I've been thinking about this. I'm very excited to be back on stage.
Whoa, take it easy, Tim Lambesis. I'm just kidding.
I remember too, I was virtual teaching for like over a year, so I've really been cooped up in my house for a long time. So I'm excited to be back out. I'm super proud of the band, Woody, Fanny, and Carney. They're great people, and I feel blessed to have met them and be in a band with them. And I'm just hoping everyone comes out October 30th.
Fuck yeah, dude. We'll be there.
Yeah, we're gonna be screaming politics, but we're gonna be dancing while we do it. Like it's gonna be a party. It's political rock, but it's still a Halloween party. So we're gonna have a good time.
All right, so the political propaganda is not going to be posted behind you, and there's not going to be a disclaimer that if you are moderate or right wing, you are refused entry, kind of thing like that.
Nope. We would gladly take your money. Listen, we put it in the songs, but I'm shaking my hips while I sing it.
So if I'm not vaxxed, am I allowed in? Are you still going to get my money?
Yeah, no, we'll definitely take your money.
Okay, fair enough.
All right.
We'll definitely take your money.
Dakota, dude, bro, thank you for finally coming on. It took hundreds of episodes to get you back on.
190 to be exact.
Thank you for having me, man. This was fun.
And I'm going to throw it back up there on the screen for the show. The Halloween Hellraiser Black Swan Dive Bomb EP release show, October 30th at the New Dodge Lounge in Hamtramck, Michigan, with Den 5 Half-Life Fly Parade. I'm going to be hosting this one, even though I don't like hosting shows anymore.
I'll even guest host it with you. Fuck it.
You can just.
Oh my God!
You're gonna get your money's worth, Dakota.
Everybody's get their money's worth because I don't like doing these.
I'm gonna
anymore.
roll in wearing all American flags. It's gonna be glorious.
He's gonna have his orange wig.
I stand.
I don't know. What
Obama. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez. All right.
Everyone wear a costume, and I can't wait for you guys to see my costume.
Please tell me you're going to go as old school Roxy Starr.
You'll just have to find out.
Omega Trump. He's on stilts and shit.
All right, bro. We will talk to you soon. It's been a long time coming, and I will talk to you soon, brother.
All right, talk to you later, guys.
Take it easy.
Peace.
All right, that was Dakota Starr. I got to get rid of this. So yeah, let's do some takeaways because I know you got to go to work and all that. What are your thoughts?
He seems like he's kind of dialed in, like in a perfect place, like as far as like a musician goes, because like, you know, I could understand like wanting to write kind of music that has like a certain stigma or whatever, and if you don't have everybody on board, it can kind of make it difficult. But it sounds like he's just like having fun with it, and I think that's one of the things a lot of people kind of forget along the way is like they're so worried about what can we do to try and position ourselves to make it, where like they're not focused on let's just have fun with it. So
it's kind of the most punk rock thing you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, kudos to him. And, you know, like I've always appreciated like the kind of work that he does. And when he takes that stuff away and implies it into his music, I think that's really beautiful too. Just because, dude, 90% of us don't deal and see with the shit that he has to deal with.
Right.
I mean, teaching down in fucking Detroit, I mean, what was the fucking one movie, you know, Coolio had the fucking song for, like
Gangster's Paradise?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the epitome of like white America getting their glimpse into it. And it's like, dude, he lives...
Dakota is Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, Michelle Dakota. Dakota Pfeiffer. No, but he lives it every day, and like, I totally respect the shit out of him. Like, I work down in Detroit in plants, and like, I can tell you, like, working with like different cultures, people that were raised differently, adds a lot of hurdles. But like when you actually like can make a difference in their life, like I can't tell you the number of times where I worked with people that they just didn't understand how a smartphone even worked.
Right.
And they're like, oh, it's just running like shit. I'm like, dude, you got 1,500 tabs open on Chrome.
Yeah.
This is how you close them out. Now when you watch YouPorn, it's going to fucking fire up real quick and your dick's going to be hard real quick. And then the old dude's like, oh, fuck yeah, man. Like, you know what you're talking about. Like little, and I say that in a joking manner, but there's a lot of things that like we take for granted that like certain subsects of people, they just don't get. So he's basically throwing himself in the fire, dealing with a shitty environment, people that have been treaded on and shit on, and he's trying to make the best of it. So, you know, kudos to him, and like I respect, love, and shit out of anyone that does that kind of work, because it ain't easy.
It ain't easy being a sleazy.
No, it ain't.
And it's been weird, you know, for me, you know, having gone from Dirty Whiskey to New Day,
right,
and now seeing what he's doing now. I mean, back in the day, it was, hey, let's write a party song. Let's write a party song.
Right.
Party, drink. And, you know,
now it has meaning.
Now there's meaning, and he's being very, I'm trying to download this video, but that I can play. But it's, you know, and a lot of people might be weird that I brought up the politics thing, you know, during the interview. But I figured that since it was such an integral part of what he's doing now, and it might give a lot of people some background into where he's coming from when he's going at these lyrics or when he's going at this.
And that's why I'm glad we touched on his job, because like your average person might be like, oh, like for me, right? If I was like, oh, I'm anti-government, they're like, oh yeah, well, you're some rich kid from fucking Rochester, like you were spoon-fed, like. Yeah. And that's why I'm glad he touched on the things that he did. It's like, dude, he's in the gutters, he's in the inner city, and they don't have a fucking printer,
right?
Like he's dealing with some straight up bullshit. And I feel, and I said when you were going to the bathroom, like I appreciate that authenticity and the genuine aspect of it. Because it's like, even if you were raised in like a millionaire's fucking lifestyle, dude, you're taking the higher road than any fucking Christian or any fucking religious person could ever take. You're going to the exact opposite of how you were raised, and you're trying to better a system that's fucked. So
I'm still waiting to download this fucking video. I got to download it straight off fucking YouTube or Facebook. So next week on the show, we're going to be talking to Suzanne DeLulio, the vocalist for the band Mag Dillon out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. We play with them at Blue Ridge. So we're going to be talking to her next week. And, you know, I'm still running way behind because I'm fucking lazy as shit, and I haven't gotten really into booking guests and all that, but we will have some phenomenal guests coming up, and it did just download, so here it is.
All right, cool.
All right, so we're going to get out of here.
On that note, I'm out the fuck of here.
We are going to close this out with old school Dakota, back when he was Roxy Starr.
Oh.
No, it's not the Devil's Dance Floor video. This predates this by about a year. I showed you this video, the Party Like a Rock Star video. This is the beginnings of Dakota Starr. He was Roxy Starr then. We're going to play it.
Okay.
And I'll let you get out of here.
Okay.
So here it is, Dirty Whiskey, Party Like a Rock Star from the EP that I recorded myself in his garage at his parents' house back when I was probably about 24 years old.
Damn.
So we're going to play...
Talk about the Wayback Machine.
So we're going to play that. Raz, get out of here. I will see you,
sometime this week.
Sometime this week. All right, man. Take it easy. This has been episode number 119 of The Rikki ROXX Show right here on Rocks100.com.
Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. It's Rikki rocks, coming out of the box. Bitches come in flocks, trying to steal his jocks. He needs to be contained with padded rocks. It's the Rikki ROXX Show, spreading like the pox. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks. Rikki rocks, Rikki rocks, yeah.
Rikki rocks up in your grill, motherfucker.
Hey, this is Rikki ROXX, and you are listening to Rocks100.com.